design. The Pretty Boy block is perfect for areas that have public visibility. See Pretty Boy for yourself at bestconcreteblocks.com or call 288-7902.
The original KMJ, 580 AM, 1059 FM, Fresno, a Cumulus media station.
Cloudy and 47 at Radio City. It's 2 o'clock. I'm Liz Kern in the KMJ newsroom. It's estimated 3,600 people are now dead, thousands more injured, buried in the rubble in Turkey and Syria. The U.S. among 20 countries vowing to help after massive quakes struck.
The first, a 7.8 magnitude, hit early Monday morning. The second, a 7.7 magnitude, hit hours later. This disaster has turned towns into mountains of rubble as rescue teams search for survivors in the bitter cold. More than 20 countries, including the U.S., have pledged aid to support the rescue effort. The death toll is expected to rise. In London, Alex Hogan, Fox News.
At least one person was injured at a fire at a home in Fresno's Tower District. Smoke and flames reported before 11 today. The house located on Roosevelt Avenue north of Belmont and west of Broadway Avenue. The house was damaged and the roof collapsed. Fresno Council member Gary Bredefeld announced he's in the running for a seat at the county. KMJ's Ruth Michaels has details.
Current Fresno City Councilman Gary Bredefeld's term at City Hall ends in 2024, but he's not waiting until then to announce his future plans. Saturday, he confirmed he'll run for the District 2 seat on the Fresno County Board of Supervisors.
At the end of the day, I just felt that's really where my calling is still to remain here. And we need fighters locally as well, and that's what I am, and that's what I intend to do at the county.
That supervisor seat is currently held by Stephen Brandow, who has yet to announce his intention to seek re-election. And Bredefeld's announcement comes as current Valley Assemblyman Jim Patterson also released a statement Saturday saying he is no longer running for any public office in 2024. Ruth Michaels, KMJ News.
2 state senators want to make California the first state in the nation to require insurance for gun owners.
Senate Bill 8 would require gun owners to purchase liability insurance for the negligence or accidental use of their firearms. If the bill is passed, California would be the first state to require insurance for gun owners.
People who own cars in this country have to have insurance. And it doesn't really make any sense that we have a system right now where people who own guns and then something happens, that is borne by the victim and society at large.
But some gun owners, like Jake Balemjian, the owner of the firing line in Clovis, says creating new legislation isn't going to help solve the gun violence problem.
Vilifying the inanimate object is a cop-out, and that's what these legislators are doing.
And that was Fox 26's Sophia Lesios reporting. After one of California's wettest months, the Colorado River is still drying up. Fox's Kristen Goodwin has more.
Despite weeks of rainfall from atmospheric rivers in California, the Colorado River Basin, which runs through 7 states and is an essential source of water, is still dwindling. California officials and scientists tell the Los Angeles Times they predict connected reservoirs Lake Powell on the Arizona-Utah border and Lake Mead on the Arizona-Nevada border may not fill up again within our lifetime, citing years of drought, hotter conditions, and an overuse of the water supply. California's Department of Water Resources says the rainfall did increase this year's state water project allocation to 30%, up from the initial 5% announced in December, explaining while it makes a dent, it's not enough to end a severe drought in the state. Kristen Goodwin, Fox News.
Farm leaders want to take on California drought and flood issues. KMJ's Ag Director Don York explains.
The State Board of Food and Agriculture wants to talk about the need to modernize California's water management system to better cope with weather extremes. California Department of Food and Agriculture Secretary Karen Ross says water management is a multi-layer approach, such as groundwater recharge. The Department of Water Resources Director will be on hand, as with other speakers on Tuesday. The State Board of Food and Agriculture is scheduled to meet starting at 10 o'clock in the morning in Sacramento and carried on Zoom as well. The State Board of Food and Agriculture advises the governor and CDFA secretary on various issues. Don York, KMJ News.
On Wall Street, the Dow ended down 34 points. Now here's Fox 26's Christina Lopez with our Monday forecast.
Good Monday afternoon. After this weekend soaking and thunderstorms, the valley will see a warm-up with 70 degrees by Friday into Saturday. In the Fresno area, a high of 51 today with partly sunny skies with an overnight low of 36. At the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Christina Lopez for KMJ News. Be safe out there.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Liz Kern, News Talk 580, 1059 KMJ.
Ever wonder why your business doesn't show up on online search maps, but your competitors do? It's hundreds of things. Things that Cumulus Boost can identify and fix. And that's how we boost your findability. CumulusBoost.com. CUMULUS Boost.com.
Now, the Valley's Afternoon Drive with Philip Teresi. Philip Teresi. Your calls, your tweets, and your voice are welcome right now on News Talk 580 1059 KMJ.
It's 2:06 at News Talk 580 1059 KMJ. Good afternoon and welcome to the Monday installment of your Afternoon Drive. Phone numbers here are 490-5858. Toll free, you can join me at 800-776-5858. On Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, you'll find the show at Drive KMJ, and on YouTube, Twitch, and Facebook Live, you can watch the show also at Drive KMJ. Joshua Weekly is standing by to screen your calls this afternoon. Got a lot to get to. We'll start with the buzz question at KMJNow.com. It's brought to you by the Boz Allergy, Asthma, and Sinus Centers. Today, we are asking a proposed California Senate bill would require gun owners to purchase insurance. Is it a good idea or is it not? Let us know what you think at KMJNow.com. Again, the Daily Buzz question is sponsored by the Boz Allergy, Asthma, and Sinus Centers. No, it's not a good idea. That's my opinion. Good night, everybody. There's a couple of reasons why I think it's not a good idea. Let's start with what real-world problem is it solving? Law-abiding gun owners don't go around randomly shooting people. Law-abiding gun owners don't leave unsecured weapons lying around where children can harm themselves or others. The laws that revolve around gun ownership, both those that any reasonable person would say are totally compatible with the Second Amendment, and those that I think anybody who's being honest with themselves would acknowledge amount to infringement. Maybe not major infringement, maybe not even evil infringement, but nevertheless infringe on the Second Amendment. The laws are more than adequate to cover all of the potential crime that could possibly result from the use or misuse or abuse or poor management or inadequate storage or inappropriate loaning or inappropriate handling or uncareful cleaning of a firearm. There are laws in place, and therefore there is established liability in place for every imaginable scenario. Now, most of the concealed carry guys that I know about, and many now have made the choice to carry concealed carry insurance. The conventional wisdom seems to be if you have to draw your firearm, if you have to fire so much as a single shot in self-defense, it's going to cost you $100,000 to stay out of jail. And if you have to draw your firearm and kill somebody in self-defense, it could very easily cost you $1 million to protect what's yours and your freedom. So there's a lot of guys that have gone ahead and opted for that insurance. And it's not outrageously expensive, but it is one more insurance. Now, as long as that insurance continues to be something that people voluntarily engage with, the price of that insurance will continue to be at a price point that makes sense based on a free market, which is why so many of the people that I know that have concealed carry permits have concealed carry insurance. If you put a government mandate in place that anybody who has a concealed carry permit or anybody who owns a firearm has to have firearms liability insurance, all of those insurance policies are going to double, triple, and quadruple in price overnight. Because it's no longer a free market, it is a controlled market, it is a forced market. And in the meantime, it's only going to affect the law-abiding gun owners, who, again, by virtue of being law-abiding, aren't behaving in a way that should require them to carry gobs and gobs of extra insurance. And the people who do not follow the law are not going to follow this law. The people who are running around with ghost guns, illegally acquired, illegally modified, sometimes never having existed in any of the myriad record keeping that we have established for the purpose of tracking firearms and firearms ownership, like the guy who killed the cop in Selma. Do you really think the 6-time arrestee AB 109 released, validated gangbanger who shot a police officer, murdered a cop allegedly? Got to say allegedly. He hasn't been convicted yet. I know. I hate it too. But he's innocent until proven guilty. Nevertheless, do you think the kind of person who shoots a cop in broad daylight a block from an elementary school is thinking about their insurance needs getting met? But the well-intentioned idiots in Sacramento, because if we're going to give them any benefit of the doubt, let's for a moment pretend that this is not about creating a new market for their buddies and campaign donors in the insurance industry. Let's pretend for just a moment that it has nothing to do with continuing to advance the flag on the field of play that is the liberal desire to undermine and eventually eradicate the Second Amendment. Let's pretend for just a minute that what they are saying is what they believe. We know it's not, but let's pretend. Join me here in Fantasyland. Even with the best of intentions in place, the criminals are not going to follow this law either. The law-abiding citizens who register their weapons, who store their weapons safely, who are responsible with the tool, and who, when they carry concealed, do so with a permit that takes more hoops to jump through than ownership of anything other than a controlled substance. You realize that. It's actually harder to get a gun than it is to get fentanyl. You can kill more people with fentanyl, even the legal stuff, but it's harder to get the gun. So even under the best possible circumstances, just well-intentioned idiocy, it's not going to have the desired effect. And it's not going to do anything to benefit the people who are victims of violent crime perpetrated by violent criminals. Instead, it's going to create increased cost of ownership for people who aren't doing anything wrong, and it is going to increase paydays for criminals. Because now the dirtbags who get their public defender, who has a duty as an officer of the court, as an admitted member of the bar, they have an ethical obligation to represent their clients to the best of their ability. And what are we going to hear? Oh, this guy's been permanently disabled. So now Joe Citizen, who followed the law, who obeyed the law, who went out and got that insurance that the law is now insisting that he carry, has effectively paid the premium for the dirtbag who tried to shoot him to take his wallet to coast on Easy Street. It's insane. It's insane, and it's got nothing to do with reality. It's more of that playing politics with the things that scare people. It's a loser of an issue. but it will get circulated through Sacramento. I do not believe for a minute that this is going to go away, that the people of the state of California, even when taking a minute for a breath to look around and realize, oh, this doesn't actually solve a problem. This just creates a new profit center. That's not going to stop Sacramento. The guys who spent last week, Senator Wiener chief amongst them, trying to decide whether or not every corporation that does business in California needs to offer an emissions dashboard so that you can go and see exactly how dirty the process of getting your groceries or the process of getting your clothing or the process of getting your children's school bucks might have been. While we had a cop who was shot and killed here as a result of policies that Sacramento could, if they wanted to, begin to improve and amend to reduce the likelihood of innocent people being murdered by violent, felonious scumbags. But they wanted to talk about emissions. Likewise, they're going to want to continue to talk about this, not because it does any good, not because it's going to fix anything, not because it's going to solve a real problem, but because that way Gavin Newsom, when he runs for president, I think he'll announce in about a year. I think we're about that far out because nobody on the left wants to jump the gun yet. Everybody's trying to give President Grandpa a chance to have one last ride with his State of the Union before they get in there and say, yeah, okay, the Democrats don't want Joe Biden again. And by the way, that is what the polling is saying loud and clear. Nobody on the left wants to see Joe Biden run in 2024. Nobody on the left wants to vote for Kamala Harris. Which means that Gavin Newsom is eyes on the prize, baby, because he thinks he's going to be the guy. He believes in his heart of hearts that he's entitled to a shot at the Oval Office. It's his turn. You know, it's the same logic that Hillary had. It was her turn. And Sacramento will railroad this through, not because it solves a real problem, not because it makes our streets safer, not because it makes responsible, law-abiding citizens more responsible and more law-abiding, not because it's going to change the mind or the heart of a single criminal, but because that way Gavin Newsom can go out there and thump his chest and talk about how he is such a warrior against your constitutionally enumerated right. On the way, Clovis Unified trustee Clint Olivier is going to join me here in the KMJ studio. We're going to talk about the second lockdown at Clovis West High School and Fort Washington Elementary in as many business days. Scary stuff. Fortunately, again, has turned out to be a hoax, but Clovis Unified's doing what they can. Fresno Police is doing what they can. We'll talk about what that looks like, as well as this contest between Steve Brandow and now Gary Bredefeld as Jim Patterson steps away from the Fresno County Board of Supervisors race and possibly any effort at political office in 2024. It's all on the way on the afternoon drive on News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle, and my company is Blindster.com. I started Blindster in 2010 to provide custom blinds, shades, and shutters at affordable prices. Our blinds are easy to install and shipping is free. Don't hire an expensive professional. Do it yourself and save big at Blindster.com.
Is your well almost dry, or is it dry? Are you on a waiting list to have a well drilled? Have you been turned away from other drilling companies who can't handle the hard rock drilling conditions in your area? Strickland Well Drilling is here for you. With over 2 decades of experience specializing in residential, agricultural, and hard rock drilling, Strickland Well Drilling proudly serves Fresno, Tulare, Kings, and Madera counties. Don't wait. Make the call today at 352-7228. Again, 352-7228. Or for more information, visit StricklandWellDrilling.com. Whether it's the soft, sandy soils of the West, the clay and cobble of the East, or the hard rock mountainous terrain, Strickland Well Drilling has the equipment and expertise to handle your individual water well needs. Access to clean water is vital, and Strickland Well Drilling knows you can't afford to wait. Call for a no-cost detailed estimate today at 352-7228. Strickland Well Drilling, dedicated to keep the valley flowing. Make the call today, 352-7228, or visit StricklandWellDrilling.com.
Today on Hey Culligan, smooth skin and soft hair comes from where? Here's Mike.
Hey Culligan, I've tried every conditioner, lotion, and body wash known to man, and my skin still feels like sandpaper.
It could be your water, Mike.
Oh, that's harsh.
More like hard water. Are you interested in smart, high-efficiency water softeners from Culligan Water?
Huh?
Want baby smooth skin and soft, luxurious hair?
Yeah, can you hurry? I have a date tonight.
We're already on the way, Mike.
Receive a free in-home water test by visiting CulliganFresnoLindsay.com.
You know, for a number of years, I've been telling you about the Zuber team, and now that I've sold my home to them in one of their programs called the Instant Cash Offer, I really get it because I've been Zubered by Darren and Daryl, the Zuber team with Real Broker. You want to be Zubered? They will help with repairs. You can't afford to get that, air conditioning fixed, maybe a little paint, need some new carpet. They'll do that for you and settle up at the end when you have cash in hand. I can tell you they're the number one team in the Fresno-Clovis area since 2011. I can tell you they've sold close to 7,000 homes since 1971. I can tell you about the thousands they spend in marketing your home. But now that I've worked with them, I can tell you it all works for real. I can't do a bigger endorsement than that. 2 words. I'm happy. Google Zuber Team. Or click Zuberteam.com, Zuber. Any interest in joining the Zuber team? Then do what I just told you.
License number 1213700.
This is an important notice to consumers facing $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt. You may not be required to pay it all back because there are special programs now in effect that will significantly reduce the amount you will owe if you qualify. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. These programs, which the credit card companies like to keep secret, exist to aid American consumers struggling with overwhelming credit card debt by offering tremendous savings and real debt relief. Accredited Debt Relief has established a special hotline for you to call and learn what savings you qualify for. They've helped qualify consumers with over $1 billion in debt and are A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. So don't wait. Get the relief you need during these hard economic times. For this free information, call the Accredited Debt Relief Hotline now. Call 800-652-5656. 800-652-5656. That's 800-652-5656.
Your drain has a way of letting you know it needs attention, like during the big game or when the in-laws are visiting. Relax. Call Balance Comfort at 559-234-4131. Right now, Balance Comfort Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing can clean your drain for just $79. $79 for a clean drain and peace of mind. So when you need it now, or before you do, remember Balance Comfort for plumbing in Fresno, Visalia, and Oakhurst. Balance Comfort Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. BalancedComfort.com.
CSLB 1027318.
All through the 2 o'clock hour. It's your afternoon drive at News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. I'm Philip Teresi. Appreciate you being here. Phone's open at 490-5858 and 800-776-5858. Clint Olivier joining me in just a matter of minutes. We will be talking about the lockdowns at Clovis West High School and Fort Washington Elementary. What do they know so far? Who's involved in the investigation? And how are the kids doing? How's the staff doing? It's a nerve-jangling thing, even for the most even-keeled and experienced administrator and teacher. Clint and I will also talk about 2 men that he has worked with for many years, including on the dais at the Fresno City Council, Steve Brandow and Gary Bredefeld. It looks like they're going to go head-to-head for the Fresno County Supervisor seat currently occupied by Steve Brandow, which he has no intention of walking away from at this time. He's pulled papers. He's going to run to keep his job. But Jim Patterson has stepped away, and Jim Patterson is termed out as an assembly member, and that supervisorial seat looked like an interesting transition for him. I don't imagine Jim Patterson's going to run for city council. At this point, he says he's just done running for political office right now. He's going to move into the private sector. So we'll find out what Clint knows and what we can learn about this kind of interesting 3-cornered scenario where you've got these guys all very recognizable, all very, very pedigreed conservatives, and all of them kind of in this interesting fight over, well, two of them still in an interesting fight over a supervisor's seat. Right now, though, Turkey, this earthquake is heartbreaking. The estimates right now, I've seen 3,700. I've seen 5,000. I don't think that Turkey and Syria know the number yet, but a 7.8 magnitude earthquake hit southeastern Turkey and northwestern Syria very, very early their time Monday, and it is freezing cold. It's rain and ice and sleet in the region right now, and buildings are toppling. The death toll is expected to rise. You've got rescue workers digging for survivors in the rubble right now. Both countries, Turkey and Syria, have declared a state of emergency. And so you're going to see the usual international operators kind of get into the area to try and help these human beings survive this unbelievable adversity.
Are you ready for cynical, awful thing to say?
I would expect nothing less.
Okay, let me try and reframe this so that it's not cynical nor awful.
Okay.
How about the United States stop giving the money to Ukraine to make war and kill people and instead give the next payment, the next allocation to earthquake relief? Do you think they'll do that?
I don't think they'll do it, but I like the idea.
Oh, yeah, the people in Washington will say, well, it's not an either-or proposition, it's a both-and proposition, and we will run the printing presses and put everybody in Fresno, Clovis, and the Central Valley in debt forever.
Yeah,
to pay for both.
It's just taxpayer money. They didn't have to work for it.
Right.
So, yeah, it's easy. It spends really, really easy when it's other people's money.
And again, I'm learning about this earthquake now as I'm walking into the studio, and I hear Philip reporting it to you. Thank you for reporting it. Thank you for the tone and care that you use the language to report that news. That's catastrophic. That many deaths. You know, it's going to go up in the coming days and weeks.
Oh yeah,
it's a huge earthquake, 7.8.
That's biblical, man.
No, I know.
One of the aftershocks was like a 6.7.
Right.
That's the Loma Prieta quake as an aftershock.
Yeah.
It's what. Look, I'm no fan of Erdogan. It's not a region of the world that I have any deep interest in visiting.
But Syria's not on your bucket list.
It's not. It's not. I don't see myself going and enjoying myself.
You're not going to Asia Minor?
There's places in Asia Minor that I would dearly love to visit.
Sure.
Southwestern or southeastern Turkey wasn't on the bucket list.
No.
There's human beings suffering.
Absolutely. I mean, you know, there are the people, there is the country, and then there is the government, and it's the same here as it is in any place. I think it's terrible. I mean, like you said, what really got me was when you reported the weather conditions. So it's not like you can just run outside and be safe. You run outside and freeze because you have no shelter.
Well, that's the thing is that there are now people in Turkey, and this city that's basically on top of the epicenter. They're on Facebook Live saying we're going to freeze to death before anybody gets here to help us. All of the buildings have collapsed. We can't go inside what's standing.
Well, over there they've got Red Crescent, not Red Cross, but Red Crescent. So I'm sure Red Crescent, Red Cross are trying to get assets. I'm sure United States government is mobilizing. I'm sure, you know, we've seen it over and over and over again. I think that, you know, probably in all of human history, this is the best time for disaster relief because of jet travel. We can fly supplies in and medical care and those kinds of things. But the human suffering is awful. And yes, I would like to see the money that is currently used for war to stop and to go toward things like earthquake relief and hunger and famine relief. Absolutely.
Well, and then you throw in that, I mean, this was really close to the Syrian border. So you've got an international border where that refugee crisis that's been fueled by a decade of civil war, there's a lot of folks that have been going back and forth. What do we know about the accommodations usually put together for refugees in third world countries?
Not good.
Not particularly sound structures. So you know that there's a lot of refugees who are out under the stars tonight because their shanties collapsed when that whole corner of the world got the hiccups. It's the human beings. It's the kids.
It's the human beings. It's the human beings.
It's this woman out in front of her apartment building, or the rubble that was her apartment building, pleading with I think it was a CNN International crew that got in there. My grandson's a year and a half old. Help him. We can't hear them. We can't get any news. God. They were on the 12th floor of this building that's just dust. That baby's dead. That woman's not able to process it because she's still in shock and survival mode herself. And it's just such a scary thing because it's a massive earthquake.
Now, back in the old days when Ted Turner started it, this is kind of a sidebar. When Ted Turner started it, CNN was like around the world, right? They would report from Riyadh. Remember, live in Baghdad? And we've got now on CNN right now, and Philip will be the true compassionate gentleman, and I will play the kind of ADD with the attention span like a mosquito. But I'm looking at CNN right now, and it says, high-stakes speech. Biden making last-minute preps for State of Union speech. I mean, what has news become? And Fox has got something about BLM, Patrice, the cowardice, BLM leader slams Democrats. Why do they not have a live shot up from Turkey? Why are we not looking at live pictures?
Because this is WWE, and this is what people pay to watch now.
It's not what I want to see. How are the people over there going to get help if the international community can't see it? I promise BBC is on it, and I promise Al Jazeera is on it.
Sure.
And I promise that, but
these aren't news networks. These are infotainment networks.
So it's so sad because CNN. Remember when we were kids? CNN was like, oh my gosh, like they're in Bangladesh for the flood.
Wolf Blitzer used to be an actual journalist.
Oh yeah.
It's news time now. We've got Liz Kern in the KMJ newsroom. Stick around.
KMJ News now.
Recovery efforts continue off the coast of South Carolina for a Chinese balloon that the U.S. military shot down this weekend. Republicans claim the Biden administration's lack of urgency to shoot down the balloon shows how weak his foreign policy is. President Biden today answering reporters' questions, including about how his administration handled it.
They concluded we should not shoot it down over land. It was not a serious threat, and we should wait till it got across the water.
Biden speaking today after Marine One brought him back to the White House. Police in the Bay Area make an arrest in connection with a shooting at a synagogue last week.
Police in San Francisco arresting Dimitri Mission Friday evening in the city's Richmond district. Mission charged with disturbing a religious assembly and brandishing an imitation firearm, among other charges. The 51-year-old is suspected of walking into the Schneerson Center Wednesday evening, taking out a gun and firing blank rounds before leaving. Roughly 25 people, a majority senior citizens, were in the room at the time. Thankfully, no one was injured. Authorities believe Mission had brandished a handgun at Balboa Theater one day earlier, about 10 blocks from the synagogue. Matt Napolitano, Fox News.
Sheryl Crow, Bonnie Raitt, and Mick Fleetwood take the stage at the Grammys last night to pay tribute to the late Christine McVie.
Do you? I give the word.
McVie was best known as one of the singers and songwriters for Fleetwood Mac. The three played the McVie-led song Songbird with Crow and Waite on vocals, and Fleetwood backing them with background percussion. Christine McVie died in November at the age of 79. On Wall Street, the Dow ended down 34 points, closing at 33,891. The S&P 500 lost 25 points. NASDAQ dropped 119. 2:33 at KMJ. Valley weather right now, still kind of cloudy, 49 at Radio City. Here's Fox 26's Christina Lopez with more of our Monday forecast.
A happy Monday to you. After this weekend's soaking and hail with thunderstorms, the Valley will experience a ridge of high pressure that will bring a warming trend to the region. Expect afternoon highs in the low 50s, and by Friday, we should see near 70-degree weather. Right here in the Fresno area, a high of 51 with partly sunny skies with an overnight low of 36. At the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Christina Lopez for KMJ News. Make it a great Monday.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Liz Kern, News Talk 580, 1059 KMJ.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle, and my company is Blindster.com. I started Blindster in 2010 to provide custom blinds, shades, and shutters at affordable prices. Our blinds are easy to install and shipping is free. Don't hire an expensive professional. Do it yourself and save big at Blindster.com.
Hello, it's Ben from Clovis Mattress, and I wanted to take a moment to say a big thank you to all of our customers who booked appointments with us after hearing us on KMJ. It's been an absolute pleasure meeting you and welcoming you to the Clovis Mattress family. Your feedback about our service and our mattresses has been amazing to hear. For those of you that haven't yet had a chance to book an appointment, we've got a special deal for you. For a limited time, we're offering to pay the sales tax on any purchase you make at Clovis Mattress, including our new introductory line, with twins starting at $169, queens starting at $259, and kings starting at $289. So don't wait. Either visit clovismattress.com or give us a call at 559-500-2222. That's 559-500-2222 to book a personal appointment with one of our sleep specialists. Because remember, at Clovis Mattress, we're not just selling you a locally made mattress, we're selling you a great night's sleep. Buy local, support local at Clovis Mattress.
Diabetes, high blood pressure, anxiety meds, everyone's on them. If you're a 50-year-old male, maybe a bit porky, and you may even have type 2 diabetes, $1 million of term insurance may only cost you about $200 a month. Call Term Provider. Speak with Big Lou at 800-777-1979. Big Lou will find a term life policy for you even if you have type 2 diabetes, are overweight, or have high blood pressure. Term Provider has helped thousands of people like you who think they can't afford term life insurance. To buy $1 million of affordable term life for you, all you need to do is call Big Lou at 800-777-1979. Lou will make sure the scales are tipped in your favor. Call 800-777-1979. Big Lou will answer your call and work to fit you into a term life policy that you can afford. Remember, Big Lou's like you. He's on meds, too. Call 800-777-1979. 800-777-1979.
This report is sponsored by Jackson Hewitt. Need bucks? With Jackson Hewitt, don't wait weeks for the IRS to send your tax refund. Come in today for up to $3,500 with a no-interest, no-fee refund advance loan when you file your taxes at Jackson Hewitt. For eligible clients, loans by Republic Bank and Trust Company. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
When your business information is missing or inconsistent across the internet, search engines won't find you, and customers won't either. Help ensure customers see you and not your competitors. Boost your findability. CumulusBoost.com. CUMULUS Boost.com.
Teresi. Streaming live on Alexa, Google Home, and everything else. Philip Teresi on KMJ.
Roll through your 2 o'clock hour on the afternoon drive. I'm Philip Teresi. Phone's open for you at 490-5858. Clint Olivier joins me back in the KMJ studios. Good afternoon, sir.
That was kind of an animated. I'm out of breath. We were going back and forth in the commercial break. Oh my gosh, that was on the camera?
Just the movement, not the conversation.
Well, yeah, but I stood up and waved my hands at you.
Yes. But they saw a little thumbnail of you moving around. You didn't flip the bird.
No, but that's enough to make me look like a crazy person. I was making a point. I made a point. I don't like that camera on there anyway.
The number of times they've seen me take off my glasses, pinch the bridge of my nose, and then glare at everybody, they're not worried that you got up and waved your arms.
Okay.
If anything, they're going to be worried that I said something to hurt your feelings, which I have not done yet.
You can't hurt my feelings. We're radio people. You could say whatever you want.
Ooh, I feel like that'll be a fun argument to settle over a drink sometime.
No, what are you going to call me?
I'm not
skinny career politician, loser. Like, what are you going to?
No, I don't know. I'd have to think about it.
No, don't think about insults for me, your friend of many years.
I would never.
Thank you.
All right. We got a couple of different things we got to cover here.
Oh, yeah.
And I want to start with your kids at Clovis West.
Yeah.
Because Clovis West in Fort Washington.
Fort Washington's
Friday.
right across the street. For those of you that don't know the geography, Fort Washington is right across the street from Clovis West. It's an elementary school.
Yeah, and it's normally a nice, quiet, comfortable little neighborhood. And twice in 2 days, both of these campuses have been locked down because somebody's picking up the phone and being an idiot.
Isn't that something? And I'm not speaking, I'm not the public information officer for the district. I'm a school board member, and I like my new job. I mean, my goodness, I've only been there for a few weeks. And really, there's never a dull moment. You've got 40,000 students you're keeping track of, and they've got to be kept safe every day and educated every day and fed every day. It's a heck of an assignment.
So I think that first and foremost, a lot of credit has to be given to the administration of the two campuses and the Fresno Police Department, because everybody responded. Everybody rehearsed their role, and everybody did exactly what they were supposed to do.
Yes.
And that's really commendable, because when you've got, what's the population between Clovis West and Fort Washington? 4,000 kids?
Oh, yeah. Fort Washington's an elementary school,
yeah.
So.
But that's what I'm saying.
And I don't know the exact number that are there, but you're talking about Clovis West, one of the biggest high schools around.
It's huge.
Yeah.
And so you've got children ranging from 4 years old to, I'm guessing at Clovis West, there's got to be
18.
1 or 2 18-year-olds.
Yeah.
And everybody's safe. Everybody's okay. The police were able to get onto campus, do their job.
Yeah. It's 2 days in a row now.
It's 2 days in a row. I know there's an investigation going on. And I know that you're constrained as a trustee from discussing certain elements of that investigation.
Sure.
Are you able to say that whether or not this is now believed to be by law enforcement a hoax, and is it being approached the same way that the Bullard High School hoax call was, with a goal of arresting the caller?
Well, I'm going to be, obviously I'm learning how to navigate all of this, and it's a lot different than the city of Fresno. I think city of Fresno, you go on KMJ, you open your pie hole, and words come out, and you say what you want. The things you say don't generally jeopardize the organization or what the organization is trying to do. This is a very different dynamic over at Clovis Unified, because you do get information that we're trying to do something here and can't blab as much. So no, I appreciate the question. But there's an investigation. There's an investigation going on. They're trying to figure out the source of the calls.
Yeah.
They're trying to figure out who did this, and if it's, clearly it's, what is it? Swatting?
That's one of the terms. Yeah.
Where
for those of you that aren't familiar, it's swatting, like SWAT team. You call in an elevated, exaggerated, or completely fake threat.
Yeah.
In order to get the SWAT team to come out and kick down a door and scare the hell out of some people investigating a threat that doesn't exist.
But there is a combined task force, federal, state, local law enforcement, Fresno PD, and they're looking into it. I mean, look at the amount of disruption that it's caused for families, and not just that, but staff. It's a mess. So I hope they find who's responsible for it. I mean, imagine
what kind of calls are you getting from parents? I mean, is it fear? Is it anger? Is it frustration? Is it equal parts of the three? When you're hearing from the community, when people talk about this, nobody's looking at this and going, well, that's life in the 21st century. What's the prevailing attitude?
Well, I think that the school district has done a very good job communicating. I think because they've kept the calls to the board trustee to a very minimum.
Yeah.
And I'm not hearing a lot, because the district does a very good job of communicating with parents. And so they send out periodic updates. I mean, they respond to the news outlets that put the news stories out. I mean, people are following this, and I appreciate that at Clovis Unified, they're really focused on community. And so they're getting that information out. And I think that a lot of parents are not going to governing board members for their information, because they're getting it in email, they're getting it in text, they're getting the information. And I think that's a that's one of the things I really appreciate about Clovis Unified. Another thing too is that Clovis Unified is they've got, I think, and I'm learning they've got 14, 16, 18 officers of their own on their own Clovis Unified police force.
Oh yeah,
absolutely. And so those officers are doing a fantastic job. And of course, Fresno comes in and helps, and then and Clovis and state and federal. I mean, it's an all hands on deck kind of situation because it's so scary.
Yeah. I'm curious if the Board of Trustees has set aside any kind of budget allocation for the cloning of Kelly Avance.
Right.
Because there's going to come a day where Kelly is going to retire as much as she loves the job.
She does a good job. She does a very good job.
She's
I'm looking in my email right now as
Yeah.
we're speaking and all the updates. And I'm not looking at anything special. I'm reading what you get.
Yeah.
And here's the one from Friday. Team-led effort. I mean, they do a good job. I mean, I'm really excited to be a part of Clovis Unified because they respond quickly. They're agile. They think on their feet. They do a good job over there. And I mean, again, I'm still learning, and it took me a year to learn City of Fresno. I remember the kind of counseling that I got when I first started. Do not speak. Do not speak the first year. Just sit there and listen, learn things, find out where the bathrooms are. That's a figure of speech, meaning learn where people's offices are, learn where the things are, learn how the system works. And that's what I'm doing is I'm going to school on it. But I mean, in my first, month on the job, I've had a superintendent retire. So we've got to hire a new superintendent. I've had this fiasco, and thank God it's just a fiasco because of these calls that have come in. But I thank God that that's all it was, and students and staff are and the surrounding community are all safe. But I mean, my gosh, it's really been an interesting month for to be a new person.
And for all the families in Clovis Unified, it's just been absolutely breakneck. We get just a minute here before the break.
Yeah,
I know that in the broad investigation, you've got everybody from the Clovis Unified School District Police Department to probably the FBI at this point.
Oh yeah,
looking into this.
I'm sure.
And I know that that's really all that can be said about the investigation. As far as on-campus law enforcement presence, of course, Clovis Unified has the Clovis Unified School District Police Department. Are you able to say if they are adding additional police presence on campus, and are they drawing from inside their own organization, or are they inviting cooperative policing from other agencies?
And that I do not know.
Okay.
I do not know. I mean, those are the way that the board works. It's a lot different than what I experienced at City of Fresno.
Sure.
I mean, the administration under the superintendent will run that district, and the governing board will hire the superintendent, will adopt the budget, set the vision, but day-to-day operations, that's a lot of work for a superintendent, for Dr. Emer O'Brien and her successor. It's an awful lot of work. It's an awful lot of work because it's a massive district, 13th largest district in the state of California, over 40,000 students. It's a big responsibility, and of course, obviously, keeping children safe is mission number one and paramount. And you know what, Philip? How things have changed since we were in high school. When I was in high school, they didn't have any of this.
This didn't exist.
No,
we were the last ones pre-Columbine, dude.
That's incredible. And you know what? The kids nowadays, they carry a lot. If they have to go to school and even have a fleeting thought, oh my gosh, am I safe? Who could come in? That's a horrible thing, and we all as a society have to work to find a solution.
That's Clovis Unified School District Area 1 trustee Clint Olivier on your afternoon drive. It's News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. More on the way with Clint as we talk about a little more Clovis Unified business, and then he'll switch hats to a former Fresno City Council member and political prognosticator to tell me how it's going to go between two of his best friends in the world.
Isn't that the truth?
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle, and my company is Blindster.com. I started Blindster in 2010 to provide custom blinds, shades, and shutters at affordable prices. Our blinds are easy to install and shipping is free. Don't hire an expensive professional. Do it yourself and save big at Blindster.com.
The story of the nurse and the foot pain that nearly brought him down.
I feel like I'm giving people their lives back.
Robert lived to take care of his patients, but he couldn't do it unless he took care of his foot pain.
I have plantar fasciitis. It'll almost put you on your knees. That's how much it hurts.
His own recovery started when he got fitted for arch supports at the Good Feet store.
Now that I'm pain free, I can make these people feel better.
Can't beat that. Stop by or schedule your free fitting at goodfeet.com. The children's music and dance teacher who couldn't cha-cha.
I was always on my feet. It was just so painful.
Elisa couldn't let her students down, so she stepped up and went to the Good Feet store for personally fitted arch supports.
I would work an entire day, and my feet didn't hurt at the end of the day. That was when I knew, wow, these are different.
But the really good part?
It's good to be dancing together again.
Stop by or schedule your free fitting at goodfeet.com.
Step into your Good Feet store in Fresno, Merced, and Visalia. Good Feet, the official arch support of Fresno State Athletics.
Lon Hanna here, talking cow care. The folks at Evans Feed know that this is a critical time of year to keep your cows healthy. If you're thinking about cutting back on your supplement programs, Mother Nature already has. Remember, it's up to you to help increase money in your calf check. Take care of your cows with Megalick Tubs by New Generation Supplements. You'll see improved performance, body condition, conception, and weaning weights, plus more disease resistance. So take care of your cows and they'll take care of you. See your Evans Feed Megalick distributor today in Madera, Chowchilla, and Porterville.
You know the first floor at Crawdaddy's can get a little wild when the crawdads kick it in and the crowd begins to rev up. It's like party time. The food, the service, the music, outrageous on that first floor, the legendary first floor of Crawdaddy's. A freestanding 3-story monument to all that is New Orleans. But maybe you are a bit more reserved. You'd like to quietly lay back in an opulent atmosphere with nothing but first-class food. An amazing long bar to satisfy your adult cravings. I recently took a very quiet table confined to a corner, had my favorite calamari appetizer with a lobster tail as the main entree. Very opulent, very relaxing, but at Crawdaddy's, it's the best of both worlds, the first or the second floor. Hey, you can always do both. You can go up to the second floor and relax with an incredible menu and that gorgeous atmosphere. And then you can go downstairs and rock until you blow your socks off. Crawdaddy's on Main in Visalia. And what's on the third floor? I'm never telling.
Say I love you with small cakes. With Valentine's Day just around the corner, give your Valentine or Galentine a delicious treat from the famous cupcakery and creamery, guaranteed to sweeten any day. Located in the heart of River Park, Small Cakes bakes and frosts daily 12 signature flavors like birthday cake, s'mores, strawberry, famous red velvet, German chocolate, and more. Custom orders are also available upon request for birthdays, anniversaries, or just because. They can also make gluten-free, sugar-free, vegan, and egg-free on special orders and have pup cakes for your fur babies as well. And did someone say Italian gelato or ice cream? Impress your Valentine with their many signature flavors like birthday cake or tiramisu that you can even smash between your favorite Small Cakes cupcakes. Also a party fave for every guest if you're planning an upcoming special event. What's the best part about spreading that small cake love? How about a sweet deal on small cakes? This Friday at 9 a.m., you can buy 2 $25 gift certificates for just $25. Get yours Friday starting at 9 a.m. on KMJNow.com.
February may be the shortest month, but as they say, big things come in small packages. Because it's a promotion frenzy this February at the Tachi Palace. Over $160,000 in cash and prizes. Over 2,500 promotion winners. See TachiPalace.com or the Premier Club for complete promotion details. It's a promotion frenzy! All packed into the shortest month at the Tachi Palace Casino Resort. This is 40.
Vote on the Daily Buzz question at KMJNow.com. Sponsored by the Boz Allergy, Asthma, and Sinus Center.
Well, to a 2 o'clock hour, it's News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. Clint Olivier's over there. I'm Philip Teresi. And we've got confirmation that in this, I don't think comes as any surprise because unfortunately, it's a matter of routine now. The Clovis Unified School District is cooperating with, working in partnership with law enforcement from their own in-house police department, clear up through the Federal Bureau of Investigation as they investigate these swatting calls, prank calls. I hate to call it prank because prank sounds like,
trite.
Is your
like
refrigerator
it's
running?
funny, right? Ha ha.
Yeah.
No, it's not. This is about as serious as it could be. Really. It's like kids get scared. Parents get scared. It's not cool.
I know that the district staff under the superintendent they're the ones who carry the ball every day. When it comes to a decision like altering campus security, because that's a pocketbook question, I know that you can't necessarily talk about as an as yet discussed agenda item, but is campus security, broadly speaking, one of the things that the Board of Trustees is going to revisit, or is this just kind of in a bubble right now?
Now, this is me guessing. My guess is if the superintendent, this is the way it works, if the superintendent feels like more security is needed, that will appear in the budget. That will just appear in the budget. And if there's got to be some kind of emergency allocation for more money to pay for what have you, training for existing staff or additional staff or any kind of equipment that might be needed, that would work its way up. I mean,
sure.
One of the things I found out about Clovis Unified that I think is kind of cool, not an extra layer of bureaucracy, but you have what are called area superintendents, and we have a handful of those, and so it really makes sense because if you look at the Clovis West area, and that falls in my district, they call it Area 1. But it's Clovis West High School, it's Kastner, and then it's a handful of elementary schools, of which Fort Washington is one. Nelson, where my son goes, is one.
Maple Creek.
Yeah. But they have their own superintendent that oversees that area. And if you think about it, I mean, here in the Central Valley, we've got one elementary school district.
Yeah.
So it runs the gamut here in the Central Valley from very large school district to the tiniest you could possibly think of. So we've got these area superintendents. They're very helpful. What I'm learning is in this system, the superintendent can delegate a lot of work to the area superintendents. They can make things happen at their level and communicate directly with the principals and implement that vision and get kids educated. And that's what we do.
That autonomy and flexibility has to be an incredible relief compared to the shenanigans that we're seeing down the street where they had 2/3 of the campus showing up to school late for 6 months. That's Clint Olivier. I'm Philip Teresi. It's the afternoon drive on KMJ. When we get back, we're going to switch gears, and we are going to. I am going to ask you about the Clovis Elementary renaming or naming.
Oh yeah,
campus.
You can ask me about that.
And we're also going to talk about Patterson stepping back and Brandow v. Bredefeld for a supervisorial seat currently held by Brandow. It's the afternoon drive on KMJ. Stick around.
Missed part of the show? Get the Afternoon Drive podcast at KMJNow.com or by searching KMJ's Afternoon Drive in TuneIn Radio or Google Podcasts.
We've all been called to bless kids in our communities, and Cars4Kids.org is helping generous and faithful listeners like you make a difference with that unused or unwanted vehicle. Donate your car, truck, van, motorcycle, or boat in any condition, and your blessing will go directly to kids and provide mental health services, education, food, housing, and basic necessities. So please call 866-835-5437 or give now at Cars4Kids.org. That's Cars4Kids.org. And right off the car, not the kid.
The 2023 World Ag Expo is here, and right in the heart of the big show, you'll find Barnes Welding Supply, the Valley's leader in welding and industrial supplies. Locally owned and operated since 1949, stop by Barnes Welding Supply's 9,000 square foot showcase and enter to win daily prizes. Grand prizes include a Miller-Matic 141 and a Lincoln Electric 140 MP MIG welder. Meet factory reps with hands-on demonstrations with Miller Electric, Lincoln Electric, Hypertherm, Makita, DeWalt, and many more. Also featuring some of the latest technology in manufacturing, showcasing a Miller Electric Cobot, a collaborative welding robot, an ArcLight plasma cutting table, and a Protomax CNC water jet. Follow us on Instagram at Barnes Welding Supply. Tag us in your photos while inside our tents and receive free welding gloves. Enjoy special show pricing at all 12 Barnes Welding Supply locations throughout California. Barnes Welding Supply at the World Ag Expo.
Employees are tough to find. Good ones even tougher, unless you're at the Central Valley Career Fair coming to Sierra Vista Mall March 16th. It's your chance to find some great new hires from hundreds looking to find or upgrade their future employment. This career fair is promoted to job seekers or people who may consider a change by 4 Big Valley radio stations, including this one. It's the Central Valley Career Fair, March 15th from 11 till 2 at the Sierra Vista Mall. Call 490-5800 today to reserve your space or visit KMJnow.com.
News Talk 580 AM, 1059 FM, KMJ, Fresno, a Cumulus Media station.
KMJ.
It's 3 o'clock in Fresno. Good afternoon. I'm Jim Miller in the KMJ News Center. Here's a look at what's happening. Well, the Central Valley showing support for a fallen Selma officer. Fresno Deputy Sheriff's Association has raised nearly $50,000 for the family of Gonzalo Carrasco Jr., who was killed last week when he went to check on a suspicious man standing in someone's front yard. Another vigil held Saturday at Pioneer Park, and the Reedley Police Department hosting a fundraiser yesterday. A memorial is scheduled for next week. A man arrested for the beating death of an elderly man has been formally charged with homicide. KMJ's Liz Kern has more.
On December 30th, Clovis police say 37-year-old Joseph Wright beat a man in a parking lot at Clovis and Herndon Avenues while stealing his cell phone. The 78-year-old victim died in the hospital on January 11th. The Fresno County District Attorney's Office has now charged Wright with 1 count of homicide at the Fresno Superior Court. Wright remains in custody at the Fresno County Jail. Liz Kern, KMJ News.
Mayor Dyer is vowing to make the streets of Fresno safer. He says a new grant of $400,000 will help save lives. He's aiming to end pedestrian deaths after 6 people struck and killed by cars just last month. Last year, 28 people killed. Dyer admits many of the roads aren't friendly to those walking or riding their bike. An action plan is in work on how to change that. No word when it's going to be ready. China now admitting a second high-altitude balloon is in the air. Fox's Ryan Schmelz has the details.
The Chinese government says a second balloon seen flying over Latin America did come from China, but claims it's of civilian nature and is used for a flight test. During a news conference, a spokesperson for the Chinese Foreign Ministry repeats previous statements that the balloon seen flying across the United States was a weather balloon and the United States overreacted by shooting it down over the Atlantic. The Foreign Ministry says the balloon over Latin America has been impacted by the weather, has limited steering abilities, and has deviated far from its planned course. In Washington, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
Now the forecast from Fox 26's Christina Lopez.
Good Monday afternoon. After this weekend soaking and thunderstorms, the valley will see a warm up with 70 degrees by Friday into Saturday. In the Fresno area, a high of 51 today with partly sunny skies with an overnight low of 36. At the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Christina Lopez for KMJ News. Be safe out there.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 1059 KMJ.
And taking a look at traffic in Visalia, the westbound 198, just east of the 99, there's a traffic hazard. Cars have pulled over to the left-hand side there by the fast lane. And West Kenosha Road, 8th Street and 180, this is out on the west side of the valley. There's been a collision with injuries. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
Hi, I'm Vanessa with PG&E. If you're in your home or business and you smell gas, your first step is to get out. Travel a safe distance until you can't smell the gas, and then call 911. First responders will make it safe. To learn more, visit pge.com/safety.
Teresi, streaming live on Alexa, Google Home, and everything else. Philip Teresi on KMJ.
I want to say something.
Yeah, please.
You know what? I love this. My favorite story in America for weeks. Now, my favorite story isn't necessarily what is the top thing.
Yeah.
It was George Santos. That guy is going to be a multimillionaire one day. He's going to have a book.
Yeah, when he gets out of prison.
And a movie, and they're going to have DiCaprio play him in a movie or something. No. This guy's going all the way because Santos is a genius. He's a savant and a genius. Watch. It's going to come out. He was a drag queen and a shoplifter. And I mean, the guy is wild. The guy's crazy. Okay, it's no longer my favorite story. All right. I know we're off topic. I'm here to talk about two things, and here I go. This thing about the balloon.
Oh, my God.
It's the best thing I've ever heard in my life. Do you realize how many trillions and trillions and trillions of dollars they rob from us to say, well, we keep you safe? No, you need the F-35. It's an airplane that doesn't work, but we've got to keep the Chinese away. And the Chinese float a balloon over the country. Now, the rebels were shooting the Yankees balloons down 160 years ago. But now we've got these balloons, and they're floating over, and they're taking pictures, and they're shooting them once they get over all the way. This is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. And the next time they go, well, they're already starting with the debt ceiling. No, you guys don't get another penny because the borders are no borders. And now all the commies have to do is float a balloon over. And they said, no, we need, an aircraft carrier battle group.
Look at this thing.
Oh, no, here it is. They're showing the map of the balloon.
Where it comes up the Alaskan coast along that bearing tail, and it comes up along the coast into Alaska.
This is an outrage.
It drops down through Canada to emerge over Montana in the United States.
It's an outrage. Do you agree? It's an outrage.
It's ridiculous.
We're paying all this money because they go on TV and they run for election and say, well, keeping us safe. We're going to be safe. You know, we need the aircraft carrier battle groups. Well, you know, one of them would be the world's one aircraft carrier battle group, I think, is the world's 13th largest army. And we've got 7. And we've got aircraft carriers and nukes and poison gas and all kinds of really nifty things. And the commies can just float a balloon over the country. For what? What are we paying for if commies can float a balloon over the country? Really?
So I was thinking about this, and there's the serious technological information security elements to this.
Sure.
That I'm curious about, but sometimes a little too lazy to really deep dive on. And then there's just the kinetic problem solving.
Okay.
And I don't think that ditching this thing was the correct solution.
They should have caught it, captured it.
Exactly right. I think that they should have dragged out one of those old CIA Skyhook-enabled aircraft. Do you remember Operation Skyhook? That whole project that they did?
Tailhook, wasn't it?
Excuse me, there was a tailhook. No. It wasn't an operation. It was an extraction plan for operatives, for agents, and for equipment.
Uh-huh.
The idea being that you could get a low-flying.
Wait, you're telling me that all the gear that was on the balloon is lost?
It's in the ocean. Oh, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
They've got to have that. Because the Chinese are saying, it was a weather balloon, right?
It was a massive weather balloon, but the carriage underneath, the actual equipment.
It was like the size of a satellite or something, wasn't it?
It was
big.
I heard between 2 and 3 sea train shipping containers.
Holy cow, that's huge.
But it's going to be jam-packed with the electronic surveillance equipment.
And
they shot it out of the sky and it landed in the ocean.
They popped the balloon. I saw it. It just popped. So they didn't blow up the machinery.
No, but when the machinery hits the water falling at terminal velocity, everything's going to get broken. Electronics are not meant to be handled like a football.
They should have caught it. Yeah, they should have hooked it.
That's what I'm saying.
I bet Elon Musk could have found a way to hook it.
The CIA had the way to hook it in 1962.
What are we paying for?
Did you not see The Dark Knight?
I don't know what you're talking about.
Okay, because they actually show...
Is that a Batman movie?
It's a Batman movie.
Okay, then I do know what you're talking about.
Okay, so the second of the Christian Bale Batman movie.
Okay.
when he goes to get the Japanese businessman out of Japan and they use that plane with the weird hook on the front to grab him and pull him out?
Yeah.
That's Skyhook.
Oh.
They actually specifically talk about the CIA Skyhook program being brought out of mothballs.
If this is true and they can capture balloons, then that was not a good use of my tax dollars to just let it
That's what I'm
into
saying.
the ocean.
We had an opportunity to grab this and to look at their intelligence gathering apparatus.
It was not a weather balloon, correct?
No, it wasn't a weather balloon. Absolutely, it wasn't a weather balloon. We all of us have weather balloons. We know what meteorological tracking systems look like, sound like,
and apparently that they've had these things float over before.
Yeah. They had one over Latin America this weekend. China is penetration testing the United States airspace. And I don't think that this is about taking pictures of ICBM fields that you can clearly see on Google Maps, by the way.
Right.
Which, boy, you want to talk about sensitive data being publicly available.
So this thing is big enough to like scramble NORAD and like scramble jets. And how did it get through?
Because it just came floating along at high altitude, so nobody was paying attention to it.
So for all
because it
those
wasn't in commercial air
trillions
traffic.
and trillions and trillions of dollars, there's no way for the United States of America and its 3,000 nuclear bombs to stop balloons or to detect or stop balloons.
Well, of course there's a way, but we're not doing that.
This is ridiculous.
We've been looking for high altitude, high speed spy craft like what we use, like what Russia uses. We weren't thinking about China coming in with this slow moving dirigible.
This is an outrage, and I'm not being, I know that I have a tendency to get really excited and say crazy things on KMJ but this is does anybody else agree with me that this is an outrage? Like they're going to take so much money from me on April 15th. They're going to take so much money and they're going to say, well, really what we're doing is protecting you from communist Chinese. And yet they're allowing the balloons to float over now. My home.
Well, and here's the thing.
What? I'm not paying them this year. I'm just not paying. You hear me? I'm not paying you this year. Come and get it.
Oh, Mom, he's kidding. The thing that worries me is by ditching this, by smashing this into the ocean, which if they were going to just shoot it down, they should have done that as soon as it came over American airspace. But by waiting as long as they did and then destroying it
over the ocean,
which is fine. I understand you don't want to land on somebody's house.
It's with Bin Laden now. We can't prove that it's there.
I think that there is a very, very strong. It's not a zero possibility. There's a very strong possibility that part of what the Chinese government is attempting to determine is if it is possible to get payload over the United States consistently using this kind of craft. Because if they want to attack the United States, if they want to do like an end run on Taiwan, setting off an electromagnetic pulse over just one major American city would create so much havoc for us at home, we wouldn't be expending the resource to go to Taiwan to fight that fight. I don't think this had anything to do with photographing ICBMs. I don't think this had anything to do with checking to see if the metal plate in Jim Bob, Wyoming skull is going to pick up AM radio transmissions on the 580 band. I think this was about seeing whether or not they could get this thing into our airspace and close enough to a major city without interference that they could set off an electromagnetic pulse.
Was the U.S. government watching the balloon for a period of time? Did they let it float over without shooting it down?
They lost track of it over Canada.
They lost track of it.
Yeah.
For how many trillions of dollars? And they lost track of it.
Yeah.
Well, guess what? I bet you that that what's the guy's name that runs Facebook that looks like a robot?
Zuckerberg.
I bet you that Zuckerberg wouldn't have lost track of it. And I bet you the Musk wouldn't have lost track of it.
I'm half convinced that Zuckerberg and Musk were delivered to Earth by something that looked like it.
This is what I'm saying. Like what?
But
is my criticism legitimate? Because you haven't addressed it at all.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I think that you're absolutely.
I don't want you to. I want to know if you think that I'm ridiculous or if you think that I'm actually a concerned citizen who's disgusted with my government because they allow crap like this to happen, for all the money they take and all the money they print, they can't even keep track of our airspace.
No, you're not being ridiculous. This bar
I'm a
was
former
not
air
high.
controller in the Marine Corps. I have a good opinion of these kinds of things. I mean, I never saw any balloons. Go on. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No, but you're raising yet another good point, because you're not just a sideline speculator when we're talking about the tracking of movement in the air. You understand firsthand how tracking things in the air works, and even going stratospheric all the way down to crop duster. There's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of different considerations.
Because if balloons are coming, that means we don't control the airspace over our own country. That's what that means. And that concerns me.
I don't think that we have ever really totally controlled American airspace. Not in the way that I think people would like to imagine.
But with
that
like
there's
Soviet spy
that
planes.
there's this total dome of absolute protection.
Should there be?
I don't know. Is
For
it
the
realistic?
money they take from us, there should be. That's my
But
contention.
I'm talking about being technologically realistic.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not sure that it just in terms of cost versus product, that what you're talking about can be achieved with the existing military budget.
You know what I would do if I were in Congress? I would bring forward an item today that would take away all American money given to Ukraine to defend their airspace, and I would reappropriate it for anti-balloon defense in the United States.
Wait. I thought you were going to take the Ukrainian money to give to the people in Turkey that don't have a place to live.
I'm taking that too. I'm giving it to them too. No, the balloon thing is a bigger issue. Take the money that Americans had their wealth confiscated, gave to Ukraine to protect Ukrainian airspace. Take that money and create an anti-balloon division of the Air Force here in the United States. There, Congressman Olivier. Done. Fixed.
I'm not certain with the rampant overclassification of every bit of communication inside our federal government. I'm not sure we'll ever be in a point where we actually know this answer. But I would like to know that if we allowed this thing to move through our airspace, and my understanding is that there were efforts made to jam it so that it could not continue to spy on us, although the fact that the Chinese were continuing to navigate it, I don't know how good the jamming was. I want to know that we learned enough from this that going forward, we're able to do what you're talking about and observe these things, detect these things, and remove these things from our airspace. Because a bad thing happening one time, shame on China. That same thing happening a second time, now it's shame on the federal government and the Biden administration.
You think they'll send another one?
Oh my goodness. I think that China is going to be testing every possible angle of attack in this country.
Then let's get him.
Between now and 2025.
If we see one, let's get him.
Talking about Chinese balloons, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just making sure. I'd be down. I build a rocket out of an old water heater.
You just fly a kite or something. Let me see one over.
What's the maximum range for an AR-15? If we get our guys in the right kind of chopper and then just give them a little tip so they can.
Don't fly over Fresno, especially not on New Year's or 4th of July. If you fly over Fresno, we're gonna get you.
That's Clint Olivier. I'm Philip Teresi. It's your afternoon drive at News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. Stick around. We got more on the way.
Taking a look at Monday afternoon traffic, the Fresno Clovis Metro freeways are all green, looking good. In the 26,600 block of West River Road, or just River Road, there's been a collision with injuries, and southbound 41, just south of Herndon, a wrong-way driver made it onto the freeway, but then hurriedly got over to the center divider before there were any accidents. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
This report is sponsored by Blindster.com.
Hi, I'm Kyle at Blindster.com. I sell custom-made blinds, shades, and shutters that are easy to install at prices less than big box retailers. Blindster blinds are custom-made for your windows, and I guarantee they'll fit. Don't hire a pro, do it yourself, and save big at Blindster.com.
You know the first floor at Crawdaddy's can get a little wild when the crawdads kick it in and the crowd begins to rev up. It's like party time. The food, the service, the music, outrageous on that first floor, the legendary first floor of Crawdaddy's. A freestanding 3-story monument to all that is New Orleans. But maybe you are a bit more reserved. You'd like to quietly lay back in an opulent atmosphere with nothing but first-class food. An amazing long bar to satisfy your adult cravings. I recently took a very quiet table confined to a corner, had my favorite calamari appetizer with a lobster tail as the main entree. Very opulent, very relaxing, but at Crawdaddy's, it's the best of both worlds, the first or the second floor. Hey, you can always do both. You can go up to the second floor and relax with an incredible menu and that gorgeous atmosphere. And then you can go downstairs and rock until you blow your socks off. Crawdaddy's on Main and Visalia. And what's on the third floor? I'm never telling.
Attention Fresno, another massive rate increase. Declare your energy independence from the utility company. If you've ever thought about going solar, you must go solar right now. You can go solar with Semper Solaris, your local and veteran-owned solar contractor. They'll get the job done with esprit de corps and honor. Imagine no money out of pocket and no payments until 2024. That's no utility bill and no payments all year. Keep your money in your pocket and go solar American style with Semper Solaris. Worried about blackouts? Tesla Powerwall and Enphase batteries are in stock. Call 559-242-1800. Not sure about your roof? Semper's an Owens Corning Platinum Preferred Contractor. Upgrade to Owens Corning 50-year warranty for free. Grab the 30% solar federal tax credit. $500 downloadable coupon, $500 off for military and first responders. Plus, 0 down, 0% interest, and 0 payments until 2024. For all offers, call 559-242-1800 or visit sempersolaris.com. On approved credit, expires 2/28/2023. CSLB number 978152. Eric was way behind on his taxes.
I owed a lot of money to the IRS, almost $15,000. I tried to make payments.
The IRS wasn't satisfied with Eric's efforts, so they came after him full force.
They're coming to put a lien and a hold on all my income, my home, my car. I was just overwhelmed at what to do.
Then Eric called Optima Tax Relief.
When Optima Tax got involved, the calls would stop, the threats would stop. It was easy like 1, 2, 3.
Optima Tax Relief is A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau, and their team of expert tax professionals took care of Eric's problem.
I owe $15,000, and now my debt is clean. I don't owe anything.
Take Eric's advice.
If you have a tax problem, you need to call Optima Tax now.
Call Optima Tax Relief for a free consultation. Call 800-932-4177. 800-932-4177. 800-932-4177.
Optima Tax Relief.
Some restrictions apply. For complete details, please visit OptimaTaxRelief.com.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month, but you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning.
We expect our information in real time. US Med carries continuous glucose monitors, which provide real-time readings of blood glucose levels. US Med is an approved provider for Medicare and over 500 private insurers. So call 800-730-8405 today for a free insurance and Medicare benefits check. As easy as, that's 800-730-8405.
Every time I, Ray Appleton, saunter into Lou Rodman's Patio Barstool and Amish Emporium, brand new, right next to Fashion Furniture across from Lowe's, the inventory grows and grows and grows. Let's remember, this began 18 years ago, all about bar stools. Central California needed bar stools. Now it's grown to where you can walk in and you can grab 2 or 22. They're in stock, they're ready to go. Throw them in the truck and you're out of there. One thing that Lou didn't have practically all last year was outdoor bar stools. He's got them. The supply chain fiasco is over with that little bit of inventory. Get him while he's got him. And the Amish inventory, it's expanded from beyond just Noah Bontrager, who's still doing outstanding things for Lou Rodman, to about 4 or 5 different lines. Amish bedroom sets on fire. Wait until you see these. Something that really caught my eye is the line of Barnwood leather living room furniture. Oh man, bars, gaming tables, dining sets from everywhere. Lou Rodman's Patio, Barstool, and Amish Emporium, right next to Fashion Furniture.
Roll through the 3 o'clock hour on your afternoon drive. I'm Philip Teresi. Clint Olivier is my guest this afternoon. And we've talked about the popping of the Chinese spy balloon, the shoot down over the Atlantic Ocean. And there is now reports coming in that pieces of the apparatus have been...
So we use 1890s words to describe the 2022 balloon, the apparatus.
They're saying that this thing that the risk is going to be worth it because of the intelligence we're going to gain from investigating the pieces of this machine.
Now there are no people in the balloon, right?
No. Not as far as I know. That wasn't how it was built to operate.
I mean, I figured it wasn't. But you see the Civil War pictures of the guys shooting their muskets at General George McClellan's balloon corps. There were guys, because they had to sketch. They had to sketch the rebel trench.
But I mean, what were they flying? 100 feet off the ground?
Yeah. Hey, who wants to go up in a balloon and fly over General Lee's trench? Not me, sir.
No. I want to be on the first one because the first one nobody's going to know what's going on.
You don't think those good old boys are?
Hey. No, you take off your hat, take off your uniform.
Hey, Irvin, you see that? This balloon up there.
Got a bottle of something. It might just be water. Hey, boys, how you doing? Just out for a ride. How's it going? Because everybody's cousins. There's no failure of ability to
the first thing I do is load up one of those mini balls in the musket and shoot at the balloon.
No, because it might be your buddy.
I don't know.
If you don't send, were they dumb enough to send it up covered in military insignia so they knew it was Union Army?
No, I think it was silver or gray or something.
That's what I'm saying. You send it up there, you pull a
big red targets on the side of the...
You pull a P.T. Barnum and start acting like you're some kind of showman come through for entertainment.
Throwing cigars out.
You got at least 2 or 3 passes before they realize that they're making those maps. Oh, yeah. It was the Confederates.
Well, I'm just hoping that, I don't know. Am I hoping that there were communists in the balloon or that there were not?
If there was a communist in the balloon, he's a victim of his government, not ours. But they are now bringing pieces in to better understand what the possible mission of this thing really was. And I'm convinced that what this is a penetration testing effort to see if it's going to be possible to get more dangerous apparatus into American airspace.
You realize we can't stop talking about the balloon, right?
I think that a dry run for like an EMP attack, because there's really only 2 ways to do that successfully and meaningfully. I mean, anybody can generate an electromagnetic pulse.
What's the diameter? What is the circumference of this balloon? What is the circumference? How big was this balloon?
Oh, the balloon was massive.
Like a hot air balloon in Clovis?
I would say
bigger.
I would say 3 to 4 times like a Clovis Balloon Fest balloon. Yeah.
Okay. What was the fuel they used in the balloon? Is it helium?
No, I think it was hot air. Maybe hydrogen.
No, it would have exploded when the missile hit it.
Yeah, it's probably true.
Like the Hindenburg.
Yeah.
That's one bad balloon.
But you could tell me hot air. You could tell me helium. Considering the height at which it was flying, helium seems unlikely because of its instability and low temperature.
It's fascinating. I mean, it's old technology.
It's
the original technology, right? Weren't the first human beings to take to the air went by balloon.
Actually, I think they went off a cliff, but yeah. There's that old Icelandic tradition about when you couldn't pull your own weight anymore.
Yeah. Ooh. Glad I'm not Icelandic.
All right. Let's switch gears for a minute here because we got just a couple of minutes to do this.
Speaking of hot air.
Okay. I was going to talk about the school you guys have to name.
Oh, no. That's not hot air.
No, it's cool. It's an opportunity to do something. And They're putting it out to public comment. Yeah. I think that you've got the entire rest of the month of February to register your opinion on what will be the 35th elementary school in the Clovis Unified District. It's going to be at Fowler and McKinley.
Yes. It's called ES 35 right now, Elementary School 35.
So on the East Coast, that's what they'd call it, and they'd be done with it.
Exactly.
Nobody'd be mad about it.
Right. There's
nothing to get upset about. It's the 35th public school. It's the 35th elementary school in the Clovis Unified School District. ES 35. There, done. No controversy, no fuss. Doesn't make for much of a...
Not a lot of fun. Doesn't look good on a letterhead.
I know Clovis Unified's concerned about naming it after a person because of the frenzy of so-called problematic persons and subsequent renaming that happened all over the state of California. Mostly looking at you, San Francisco.
Didn't they rename Abraham Lincoln Elementary School?
Oh, they went after George Washington High School. They went after Abraham Lincoln Elementary.
No, I think what you'll see from Clovis Unified will be a name.
Is it going to be like a Mountain View or a Valley Oak or a Maple Creek?
It could be. It could
be. Can we is it possible? Because I understand why a school district would do that. There's no offense, there's no controversy. Right. You give the school a mascot that everybody can get behind and nobody's feelings get hurt, and it's safe and it looks good on letterhead. If we're going to do that, can we please name it Hill Valley Elementary?
Uh-oh. What's the connection?
That's the name of the town that Marty McFly
Back
lives
to
in.
the
Back to the
Future,
Future,
right? Yeah, that's what I thought.
Can we name it Hill Valley Elementary? Because that's not going to hurt anybody's feelings. Michael J. Fox is never going to come out as problematic. It's
Hill Valley
Elementary School.
If you'd like, I can suggest it to everybody else.
I mean, you've already got I think you've already got the potential for a really fantastic mascot.
The Hill Valley what?
DeLoreans.
The Hill Valley DeLoreans. I will suggest it, Philip. Thank you.
My other vote would be, of course, Margaret Mims Elementary School.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I still think that Fresno Unified and Central Unified both missed an opportunity to not honor our first female sheriff in Fresno County.
Ooh, and just retired?
Beloved by the community.
Sure.
There's nothing about Sheriff Mims that any reasonable person can call problematic, and one of her greatest emphases as sheriff was always education and literacy. I mean, she started the sheriff's reading posse.
Oh, you're right. Wow, and this is one I haven't heard yet.
I understand that Clovis has their way of doing things, and I'm not picking on that. And if you're going to do something super duper safe, just call it Hill Valley Elementary.
Or ES35.
I agree with you.
That sounds like a Lexus. Is it the ES35?
It does. It sounds like a Lexus
High
model.
performance 2.0 liter
turbo.
turbo.
Are we gonna have a school in Clovis named after a Japanese car?
No, an ES35.
KMJ News now.
It's 3:30 in Fresno. Good afternoon. I'm Jim Miller here in the KMJ News Center. Here's what's happening. Well, one person injured this morning after a house fire in Fresno's Tower District. Smoke and flames reported just before 11 a.m. today. The structure damaged. The roof collapsed at the house located on Roosevelt Avenue, north of Belmont and west of Broadway Avenue. The family made it out, but the person in the basement had to be treated on scene for minor injuries. The cause still under investigation. And no one hurt today, but a house is damaged early this morning in another fire in northwest Fresno. Fresno Fire called out to the home near Ashland and Brawley Avenues. Crews arrived to find heavy flames coming from multiple sides of the building. Crews able to quickly extinguish the fire. They're investigating the cause. Well, Congress, in a bipartisan fashion, speaking out against one social media company. Fox's Ryan Schmelz has the details.
Republicans and Democrats speaking out about the social media app TikTok and its ties to the Chinese Communist Party. That includes bipartisan support for banning the app on government phones. Democratic New Jersey Senator Cory Booker this week said the intelligence community is working with the company to make sure the CCP cannot get access and use it for spying, while Democrat Michael Bennet of Colorado has asked Apple and Google to ban TikTok from the app stores. Republicans Josh Hawley and Ken Buck are pushing for legislation to ban the app in the U.S. completely. In Washington, Ryan Schmelz, Fox News.
Now the forecast from Fox 26's Christina Lopez.
Good Monday afternoon. After this weekend soaking and thunderstorms, the valley will see a warm up with 70 degrees by Friday into Saturday. In the Fresno area, a high of 51 today with partly sunny skies with an overnight low of 36. At the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Christina Lopez for KMJ News. Be safe out there.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
And taking a look at afternoon traffic, southbound 99 at the Stanislaus off-ramp, that's in downtown Fresno. There has been a collision, no injuries there. A couple of events in Merced County in the 26,600 block of River Road. There has been a collision, injuries reported, and also in Merced County at East Keys Road and Monte Vista, that's Mountain View Road. There's been a collision with major injuries. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
This report is sponsored by Indeed.com. Hiring can be a headache. That's why there's Indeed, the hiring platform that removes the hassle. Sponsor a job and immediately get a short list of quality candidates. And you can schedule and conduct video interviews right on their site. Visit Indeed.com/credit.
Hi, I'm Joe Holstein, president of SunPower by Quality Home Services, with an urgent message. The local utilities are changing the solar rates and credits, and it's not in your favor. It's estimated that with this new plan, known as NEM 3, new solar customers will lose as much as 75% of the savings that solar provides. That's the bad news. The good news is there's still time to get signed up on the current plan, but you only have until April 15th. So if you've ever thought about going solar or thought about adding on to your current system, now is the time. Call today before it's too late. Solar never has been and never will be as affordable as it is right now. So act today. Visit our website at sunpowerbyqhs.com. That's sunpowerbyqhs.com. Please don't miss out and don't delay. Act today before it's too late.
Don't miss out on the savings. Go to sunpowerbyqhs.com. That's sunpowerbyqhs.com. CSLB 716208.
Today on Hey Culligan, why does your team stink? Here's Coach Waters.
Hey Culligan, yeah, my team stinks.
Ooh, harsh.
No, I mean they stink. They won't hit the showers because it makes their skin all dry and itchy.
Coach, it sounds like your guys have been hit hard by hard water.
You kidding me? Hard water?
Yep, so let's call an audible in the form of one Culligan Smart High Efficiency Water Softener to get the smooth back in their skin and the stink out of your team.
Okay, Culligan, I'm putting you in.
Coach, we're already on the way.
Receive a free in-home water test by visiting CulliganFresnoLindsay.com.
We've all been called to bless kids in our communities, and Cars4Kids.org is helping generous and faithful listeners like you make a difference with that unused or unwanted vehicle. Donate your car, truck, van, motorcycle, or boat in any condition, and your blessing will go directly to kids and provide mental health services, education, food, housing, and basic necessities. So please call 866-835-5437 or give now at Cars4Kids.org. That's Cars4Kids.org. And right off the car, not the kid.
This report is sponsored by CalHope.org.
Life is uncertain. It's okay to feel stressed, anxious, worried, or frustrated. CalHope can help. Access CalHope's free and secure mental health resources. Call 833-317-4673 or live chat at calhope.org.
Teresi tackles Fresno and California issues every day. Philip Teresi on News Talk 580 1059 KMJ.
Roll to the 3 o'clock hour on your afternoon drive. Philip Teresi, Clint Olivier. Phones open at 490-5858 or 800-776-5858 if you want to join us. So it's been a weird weekend politically. Got a text message from Fresno City Councilman Gary Bredefeld.
Yes.
Haven't heard from him in a while, so that was a nice surprise with his announcement that he was going to be running for Steve Brando's supervisorial seat, for which Steve Brandow has pulled papers to say he is also running to keep his job on the Fresno County Board of Supervisors. Meanwhile, Assemblymember Patterson, who had announced on KMJ he was going to run for that seat, subsequently announced that he had decided he was not going to run for any political office in 24.
Right.
In terms,
and he was going to run for the District 2 supervisorial seat against Steve.
Yes.
But is no longer going to.
Exactly right.
Right.
Patterson seems to have found something in the private sector that's caught his eye, and that's from his announcement. I have no doubt that Jim Patterson will continue to be a servant to the people of the Valley.
He will absolutely. I don't have any specific information, but I can tell you that for Jim Patterson's service to this community, to this valley, to the city that he loves, no, he'll be around. Jim will be around. And
you think he's going to work for Ashley at the Regional Foundation?
I don't know. I don't really think that's kind of his jam. Do you?
It doesn't strike me as a perfect match out of the gate, but it just popped into my head. You could eventually get all of the former Fresno mayors.
Yeah,
like the round table,
like the Super Friends.
Yeah, and bring in Alan Autry, bring in Lee Brand. Everybody gets like a special ring,
right? Oh, and they could go in a dark room, with kind of weird lighting, and solve all the city's problems.
All the meetings on CMAC are shot at a Dutch angle.
I think we've got other living mayors.
I'm sure we must, yeah.
Oh, well,
Whitehurst,
Dan Whitehurst. Yeah. I think we just lost Dale Doig.
Yeah.
I think Karen Humphrey is doing her thing someplace.
Okay.
I think she may still be around. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, KMJ family, but I think we could get all the mayors in a room and just solve the city's problems.
See, Patterson was my first mayor coming to Fresno.
Sure.
So like in my brain, that's where the office starts.
Well, you know what? He's the first strong mayor. Jim
Exactly.
Patterson really mapped out the what it is to be a strong mayor and have 7 council members running around trying to make your life difficult.
Constantly jerking on that rug. Now we've got Gary Bredefeld making the announcement that he's going to run against Steve Brandow.
Yeah.
Brandow as supervisor, and it was really even as a city councilman. I met Steve in connection with the Tea Party back in 2008.
Yeah.
And his learning curve on functioning in the room, politically speaking, has been very steep, and he's managed it as far as I can tell.
Steve has been graceful when he's needed to be, and he's been tough when he's needed to be.
Exactly right.
He's been funny and whimsical when he's had to be.
He also did something that I continue to think is one of the smartest things any local political person could possibly do,
which is
quit Twitter.
Yeah, he walked away. I quit Twitter. I got away from it.
It's
a cesspool.
I've mostly pulled away from it. Once in a while, I get sucked back in, and I'm just about done. I'm just about ready to other than posting show stuff, just no more social media for me.
No.
But it was a genuine surprise and a pleasant surprise when he did that, and I've seen Steve being effective in his roles as he's kind of moved from position to position and as he's had time to mature in those roles. Bredefeld has always been very visible. He is Gary Bredefeld might be the most tenacious person to have sat on that dais in a generation. The guy doesn't know the word quit. Mm-hmm. Even when I don't agree with him, I respect the man's tenacity. Dr. Bredefeld and Supervisor Brandow are two very different styles of communicators. They historically have been seen as political allies.
Oh, yeah.
Gary is a bomb thrower. When he's got something to say, he gets out there and he says it. He'll call a press conference. He'll lay out whatever information he has and invite the media to look into it, to investigate it, to speculate on it, whatever. See the Nelson Esparza extortion scandal for a prime example of Gary Bredefeld calling people's attention to something. Brandow's become much more retiring than that. He's much quieter.
Well, he's on a quieter board.
Yeah.
The Board of Supervisors is a quieter board. They're I think by nature they're more collegial. I mean, think back to the old days. When Phil Larson and Susan Anderson and Judy Case, and I'm trying to name off as
Debbie Puchigian, yeah.
Debbie, and even before her, lots of folks on there. It's more collegial. You don't get the food fights. I'm trying to think of a supervisorial food fight, and I can't think of one. And I'm not saying they go along to get along. I'm saying that they it's a different animal. It's a different animal. So much of what they do, it's a pass through for the state of California. On the Board of Supervisors, they don't have a lot of discretionary budget after the state programs they administer that they're required to spend and administer. After sheriff and jail, they don't have a lot of discretionary money. They're not buying hotels for homeless folks.
One of the selling points that we've already seen Councilmember Bredefeld put forward in his own favor is he's not afraid to come out of the corner swinging.
Oh, go ahead, finish.
Which again, especially on our Fresno City Council, it's not just an essential tactic. It's how you survive in that room as basically the lone conservative. The Board of Supervisors does not require swinging.
No.
When we put Dr. Bredefeld and Supervisor Brandow toe-to-toe to have a debate, whether they come in here, whether they go on KMPH or talk to Alex on, at some point they're going to have to get on a dais and talk about what they offer that the other doesn't, that the voter needs to consider. What do these two have to say about each other that isn't immediately violating Reagan's 13th commandment?
Well, and this is the thing. Look, I'm going to start off by saying that I've served with both. Steve Brandow is one of my very best friends, if not my best friend. He's my 9-year-old son's godfather, and he's been a wonderful influence in my life, and on my son's as well. I mean, my 18-year-old son, it's a tradition. We go over to Steve's for 4th of July, and we cook out and we light fireworks. I have the utmost confidence in Steve, and what I'll say is maybe not exactly what you need me to say, but it's what I'm going to say at this particular juncture. As we get closer to the campaign, I may say more. I may be prohibited from talking because I'm still the CEO of BizFed.
Sure.
And my BizFed members demand that I allow an avenue for them to communicate effectively and amicably with whoever sits in that seat.
Yeah.
That's my professional life. I can tell you about my personal life, which is, Steve's my best friend. But what I will tell you is that I'm going to let Steve speak for himself.
Sure.
And he's going to.
Good.
Yeah, Steve started out as the Tea Party chairman.
Mm-hmm.
And Steve was one of those guys that found himself in office from the Tea Party. And you can track them. They went to Congress. They went to state Senate. Andy Vidak was one. And there were, you can track them all and the trajectories of their careers. Steve has been very successful. I have watched Steve work with Democrats. I've watched him work with other Republicans. I've watched him work with people that disagree with him. But here's what I'm going to tell you. Because we're still, the primary for this is probably going to be in March or June or something of next year. I'm going to let Steve speak for himself. I'm going to so I can tell you that Steve is preparing his response. He's coming out. He's going to speak out on this reap on reap race, which is you started this off by talking about Republicans and Ronald Reagan saying thou shalt not speak ill of other Republicans. And how when I was in politics I would laugh and I would generous belly laughs when the Dems ate their own.
Sure.
When the Dems had Dem on Dem races when I was in politics. Now I'm speaking, I'm speaking as private citizen Clint Olivier, not as BizFed CEO Clint Olivier. But when I was on city council and I was a Republican stalwart, and there were Dem on Dem races, we love it. Let them eat their own. We love it.
Well, when we get back, that's the other piece I want to ask you about.
But now, I do hate to see it. I hate to see Republican on Republican races.
That's the other part that I want to ask you about, because that's a big piece of this race and the potential for lost efficiency in retaining conservative control in the region. It's the Afternoon Drive at News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. Clint Olivier, Philip Teresi. Your calls, if you dare, 490-5858. We'll be right back.
And taking a look at Monday afternoon traffic west of Fresno on East Dickinson and West California Avenue, a collision with injuries. Westbound 168 in Fresno. This it is in Fresno, yes. At the Bullard off-ramp, there's a collision with unknown injuries. Downtown, southbound 99, Stanislaus off-ramp, a collision, no injuries reported there. And in Merced County, East Keys Road and Mountain View Road, there has been a collision with major injuries. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
This report is sponsored by calhope.org.
Life is uncertain. It's okay to feel stressed, anxious, worried, or frustrated. CalHope can help. Access CalHope's free and secure mental health resources. Call 833-317-4673 or live chat at calhope.org.
I am a very happy camper because I get to tell you about the Noble Brothers Truck Accessory Center. Yeah, exactly the same place I was talking to you about 15, 20 years ago. Do you know this local company is 42 years old? 42 years dabbling with trucks. I think they know what they're doing. And right now, I need to address you people that have companies and you people who are farmers with fleet vehicles. This is an area where the Noble Brothers have really carved out their expertise. Whether it's cabinets, truck racks, ladder racks, toolboxes, van interiors, van shelving, and a lot of it. Remember, I use the F word, fleet. If you have fleet needs, you need the Noble Brothers Truck Accessory Center. Two of them, one out in Sunnyside, the other one on Blackstone near Sierra. I got to know them when they turned a Jeep Wrangler of mine into a masterpiece, and I just got another Jeep. And they're doing it all over again. I can't wait for the finished product. Click nobletruck.com. Noble, N-O-B-I-L-E. If it's a pickup, a van, a Jeep, oh, even a fifth wheel, you totally need the Noble Brothers Truck Accessory Center since 1980.
Are you the parent of a 2 to 7-year-old? Listen closely for an exciting free radio offer. By now, you've probably heard of ABC Mouse, the Parents' Choice Award-winning online learning program that's actually changing the lives of early learners everywhere.
ABC Mouse is like a little one-on-one teacher. It has helped her so much.
Right now, we're offering a special radio promo to try it free for a month. But you have to go to abcmouse.com/radio to claim your free month. That's abcmouse.com/radio.
Sponsored by Age of Learning.
Milk, eggs, $42. Ma'am, you okay?
Need bucks? With Jackson Hewitt, don't wait weeks for the IRS to send your tax refund. Come in now for up to $3,500 with a no-interest, no-fee refund advance loan when you file your taxes. That's up to $3,500 today. Don't let high prices get you down. When every dollar matters, it matters who does your taxes. So get to Jackson Hewitt today. For eligible clients, loans by Republic Bank and Trust Company. Details at jacksonhewitt.com.
What you've heard about probiotics is probably wrong.
I eat yogurt, so I don't need to take a probiotic.
Probiotics? They don't really work. It's time to learn the truth about probiotics and join the Align Healthy Gut Team Up. Align has probiotics to naturally help relieve occasional bloating, gas, and abdominal discomfort. Try Align probiotics for a month and see how great a healthy gut can feel. Get $2 off your first month of Align at alignprobiotics.com.
As a Walgreens pharmacist, I talk with people all the time about little tips and tricks for filling their Medicare prescriptions, like taking advantage of Walgreens 90-day refills to save them a trip, or using Refill by Scan, which is super easy and right on your phone. And for anybody worried about prescription costs, I say, hey, we got you, with low-cost copays on many medications.
Let's talk about making things easier. Walgreens is here. Fill your way and save at walgreens.com/Medicare. See pharmacists for restrictions and exclusions.
This is an important notice to consumers facing $10,000 or more in credit card debt, medical bills, or other unsecured debt. You may not be required to pay it all back because there are special programs now in effect that will significantly reduce the amount you will owe if you qualify. This is not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. These programs, which the credit card companies like to keep secret, exist to aid American consumers struggling with overwhelming credit card debt by offering tremendous savings and real debt relief. Accredited Debt Relief has established a special hotline for you to call and learn what savings you qualify for. They've helped qualify consumers with over $1 billion in debt and are A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau. So don't wait. Get the relief you need during these hard economic times. For this free information, call the Accredited Debt Relief Hotline now. Call 800-652-5656. 800-652-5656. That's 800-652-5656.
It's a new year, and KMJ has a new app. Get it now at the App Store by searching KMJ 580.
Rolling up on 4 o'clock on your afternoon drive at News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. Clint Olivier's here, talking about the now Brandow versus Bredefeld fight for Brandow's District 2 Fresno County Supervisor seat. Jim Patterson has decided he is going to pursue his work in the public interest in the private sector starting in 2024. Meanwhile, Gary Bredefeld has announced that he is going to go after this seat. Now, you and I were talking about the that Reagan's 13th commandment, thou shalt not speak ill of other Republicans. Supervisor Brandow has...
Steve,
I mean,
please.
Steve, but I'm trying to be respectful of what the guy's accomplished here. He has taken on a much more low-key sort of persona, especially since he got the supervisor seat, but he was really headed in that direction even while he was still on city council.
You know, he's kind of an interesting guy. I mean, Steve is a real interesting guy. There was a period of time where he was a lightning rod at City Hall.
Oh, yeah.
Remember when he called some group pansies? And he said, you guys are a bunch of pansies. And they came to the next council meeting, and they had pansies everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
They went to Home Depot or whatever and bought some and potted them. They were lovely.
Oh, they were beautiful, yeah.
And they were all over. I mean, he was a lightning rod. Steve will definitely speak his mind.
No, there's no doubt that the man has the ability.
Like nobody who is there a lot of news coverage of the county board of supervisors? Like Bredefeld thinks he's going to get some grand stage. No, if he goes there, it's a wax museum. Like nobody moves in there. It's they don't get coverage at the board.
I'm very surprised that Dr. Bredefeld did not announce that he was going to run for Patterson's assembly seat for two reasons. One, what you just said. We need a bomb thrower in Sacramento.
Absolutely. And go ahead.
We need a bomb thrower in Sacramento, and frankly, in that environment, that level of bombast is appropriate. The other thing is it prevents this Republican on Republican conflict that I am concerned is setting the stage for some kind of Democrat or independent to slip in on the county board of supervisors, regardless of the will of the voters, and turn that body into something that it has not been.
Steve Brandow is not just a steady hand. That hand is able to throw the switch when there's something to be alarmed about. Yeah. And he's done it for years and years. He's prepared to do it, and he's doing a great job in there. No, I don't like reap on reap fights, and I don't like the idea of some Dem getting in there.
Is there any possibility, and I know Steve will speak for himself in due time, in your mind, is there any possibility that Brandow decides to go for the assembly seat?
Look, Steve is going to speak this week.
Okay.
He is going to speak for himself. He's going to defend himself. I'm guessing he uses this organization, KMJ, as his platform to do that, because this is where we come when we have something important to say. And he's gonna begin making the case to people on why he should stick around, and I'm gonna leave it to him because I believe in him. And it's so early. Maybe Gary runs for assembly. Maybe I don't know. Maybe sees it through. Maybe who knows? We're a year out, over a year out from the when people start casting votes on this. But I tell you what, that assembly seat needs a good candidate.
It needs a Republican.
And I mean, where are you? Are you within the sound of my voice?
I can't do it. Nobody's ever going to elect me.
Well, I am.
Why don't you run for it?
I've been on my job at Clovis Unified for 3 weeks, Philip. And
lily pad, man, lily pad.
No, because when I was running the scuttlebutt, he's a career politician. He's going to run for something else before too long.
Yeah.
I'm not leaving the fam. Okay. I'm not leaving the boys. Hey, man, I'm digging it. I'm digging BizFed. I'm digging Clovis. Philip, you're going to get me in an awful lot of trouble,
I'm just saying, Patterson's got to sell that boat to somebody.
Ooh, living on a boat. Living in Sacramento. Free food. Free old fashions.
Part of the show? Get the Afternoon Drive podcast at KMJNow.com or by searching KMJ's Afternoon Drive in TuneIn Radio or Google Podcasts.
For a better you, listen to me. Me happens to be Ray Appleton, and you know who you are. With a whole house life source water system, let's talk about a better, healthier you. You know, our bodies are up to like 70% water. So clean and healthy water is essential for your bod to function. That being said, unfiltered chlorinated water just doesn't cut it. No, you want softer skin. You want healthier hair. You don't want any more chlorine in your showers or baths. Yuck. And what you consume, clean and delicious. And with a LifeSource water system where you will taste and feel the difference, there's no maintenance, there's no monthly servicing, no filters. You want a better you? LifeSource water. That's what it's all about. Call 559-330-1850 or click lifesourcewater.com. One more time, 559-330-1850. LifeSource. Hey, you're going to taste and feel the difference. Believe it. You know who else is going to love it? Your pets. Your pets will love LifeSource. Really.
John hated getting out of bed, always wary of what new disaster the day would bring. Labor issues or Sigma regulations? The latest pest invasion? Stink bugs? And politicians? New day, new farming fiascos. I gotta tell you, John's happier now, and he sleeps a lot better. I'm Dan Hoekstra with Hoekstra & Associates. We were able to find buyers for his farmland and then help him turn the proceeds into a stable income stream that consistently pays him 3 times more than what his farm earned on its best year. And the best part? He never has to worry what new disasters the day will bring. The passive income shows up in his bank account while he and his wife tour the world on a much-needed and never-ending vacation. Maybe you're like John, ready to trade in your work boots for traveling shoes. We can sell your farmland and find you stable investment properties that'll bring you a steady income with no farming fiascos. Let's talk it over. Your kitchen table or mine? Go to HOEKSTRA.land, Hoekstra.land.
Get Allbritton's complete furnace revitalization. Oh, man, this is tough.
Not bad. Maybe a little more on the zation.
Online at allbritton.com.
The original KMJ, 580 AM, 1059 FM, Fresno, a Cumulus media station.
It's 4 o'clock in Fresno. I'm Joe Miller in the KMJ News Center. This news update sponsored by Best Concrete Blocks, the old Fresno company with new ideas. Fresno paying tribute to the first Hmong American mayor of a major city. Sheng Thao made history during the November election, sworn in as Oakland's mayor last month. Over the weekend, she was honored at General Vang Pao Elementary School. Community leaders welcomed her with a special ceremony and proclamation celebrating her success. Thao said she hopes to inspire change in both the Bay Area and Fresno. Details expected today on a possible meteor that fell in Merced County. Several people reported seeing a bright flash of light late Friday night, followed by a loud boom. One person even heard it in North Fresno, and meteorologists confirmed they also detected the heat and light on their radar. National Weather Service says it was likely a meteor and appears to have landed in a field near Highway 59 and Nevada Street. Fresno man sentenced today for using a stolen identity from an elderly victim to steal hundreds of thousands of dollars. KMJ's Liz Kern reports it began in September of 2020.
The Fresno County Sheriff's Office and FBI bank fraud and ID theft investigators were working the case. Court documents show that 38-year-old Brian Stoffel applied for a loan and several credit cards, as well as stole from the elderly victim's bank account using fraudulent information. Prosecutors say over the span of just 1 year, Stoffel racked up almost $420,000 in charges. He was sentenced on Monday to 5 years and 4 months in prison. Liz Kern, KMJ News.
Students at Golden Charter Academy unveiling a new community garden in Central Fresno. The project was in partnership with the Fresno Metro Black Chamber of Commerce and former NFL player Robert Golden. The George Washington Carver Community Garden will help expose students to the world of agriculture and serve as an outdoor classroom. Is the U.S. ready for a 4-day work week? Fox's Jeff Bonoso has the details.
Some employment agencies say a 4-day work week will become more popular in the coming years and that companies need to be ready for it. That as a bill is being proposed in Maryland to reduce the work week to 32 hours.
Employees suffer from burnout, they suffer from stress, health problems, mental health problems from working too much.
Maryland Democratic Delegate Von Stewart basing his bill off research by 4-Day-a-Week Global, an advocacy group that found companies with 4-day work weeks had higher profits and production, better recruitment and retention. Though bills in California and the U.S. House to lower work weeks have also been introduced in the past and failed. Jeff Manasso, Fox News.
Now the forecast from Fox 26's Christina Lopez.
Good Monday afternoon. After this weekend soaking and thunderstorms, the valley will see a warm up with 70 degrees by Friday into Saturday. In the Fresno area, a high of 51 today with partly sunny skies with an overnight low of 36. At the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Christina Lopez for KMJ News. Be safe out there.
with news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
And taking a look at afternoon traffic in Tulare County, Highway 63 and Avenue 145. There has been a collision with no injuries. In Madera, southbound 99 at the Cleveland Avenue off-ramp, a collision, no injuries involved there. West of Fresno, East Dickinson and South Dickinson and West California Avenue, there has been a collision with injuries. Westbound 168 at the Bullard off-ramp, a collision with unknown injuries. In downtown Fresno, southbound 99 at the Stanislaus off-ramp, a collision, no injuries involved there. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
Samba to big-time winning.
And fabulous fun.
It's Chauncey Gold and the $650,000 Rio Carnival of Riches.
Dance to win January 2nd through February 24th. Only at Chauncey Gold Resort and Casino.
Your calls, your tweets, and your voice are welcome right now.
Let me start by saying thanks for all that you do.
The Valley's Afternoon Drive with Philip Teresi on News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
4:05 on your afternoon drive. I'm Philip Teresi. You're listening to News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ online. You can listen at KMJNow.com. And if you missed any part of the show, including a great conversation with Clovis Unified School Board Trustee Clint Olivier. He's also the Executive Director of BizFed Central California. A lot of ground covered, talking about what's going on out at Clovis West and Fort Washington, talking about the naming of a new campus. I don't know why I want to say renaming. Probably because of all the insanity up north over the pandemic. Plus the Chinese spy balloon and, of course, the Bredefeld-Brandau Fresno County Supervisorial Contest, as well as Jim Patterson announcing that he will not pursue that supervisorial seat. Instead, he is going to be investigating avenues in the private sector to continue and serve the people of Central California. I'm very excited to hear what Jim has to say about that in the days to come. The funeral for the Selma officer Gonzalo Carrasco has been announced, and it looks like they're anticipating a crowd. So it is about a week and a half out. Thursday, February 16th, the services will be at 10 a.m. at the Fresno Convention Center, and this is open to the public. Again, Officer Carrasco is 24 years old. He's a native of Reedley. He'd been an officer since May of 21. He's also an expectant father. And you know the rest of the story is he was out on a routine patrol, residential neighborhood, a couple of blocks from an elementary school, when this felon on probation allegedly shot and killed him for trying to figure out why he was creeping around a neighborhood. So if you want to pay your respects, if you want to attend, again, Thursday, February 16th, 10 a.m. at the Fresno Convention Center, and it is open to the public. I wouldn't be surprised to see an overflow, and I hope there is. I don't know, short of what? Funding that little baby's college education? I don't know what else the public can do to appropriately thank Officer Carrasco. There's no consolation. The arc of this alleged cop killer is it's a perfect encapsulation of basically everything that's going wrong with our so-called criminal justice system right now. David Taub over at GV Wire put together a timeline for the suspect. It's straight out of Fresno County court records and statements from the Fresno Police Department. And it's not even a long timeline. This guy broke bad and went for it. Now remember, we've been listening to the governor wag his finger and complain about being lectured by our district attorney because of her observation that the governor and the legislature in Sacramento have done nothing to improve our situation in terms of AB 109, in terms of Props 57 and 47. And despite the fact that our governor hasn't ever actually had a one-on-one conversation with our district attorney, he's tired of being lectured by the district attorney while he is out lecturing law-abiding gun owners about all the things that he would like to impose upon them while this dirtbag does what he does. So here's the timeline. Because that argument about AB 109, that argument about was this on the district attorney or was this on AB 109 or was this on the governor and the state legislature and on and on and on. I think that it crystallizes nicely here. June 18th, 2019. Nathaniel Dixon is cited by the Selma Police Department along with 3 others for trespassing. He no-shows his September 17th arraignment. September 25th, 2019, 8 days after the arraignment he blew off, suspect Dixon is accused of the Selma Police Department of second-degree robbery and attempted carjacking. Jump forward a few days, October 2nd, 2019. Suspect Dixon is cited by Selma Police Department for possession of methamphetamine as well as drug paraphernalia. And October 16th, he's arrested by Selma Police Department for carrying a concealed dirk or dagger and is at that time finally placed into custody. July 21st of 2020, Dixon, in a plea deal, enters a plea of no contest to the robbery charge. The other charges are dismissed. Dixon is given a 1-year suspended sentence and 3 years probation. So we have accelerated in just over a year from trespassing to a plea deal for robbery. From July 21st to August 7th, Dixon is again arrested by the Selma Police Department, this time for drug and gun charges. But Dixon is released from the Fresno County Jail because of pandemic-era COVID policies. August 19th, Dixon is arrested by the Fresno Police Department for drug and gun charges. This time, Dixon stays in jail through the trial. We then leap forward to March 7th, where Dixon, in a plea deal, pleads no contest to 1 gun charge and 1 drug charge from the August of 2020 arrests. Dixon is sentenced to 5 years and 4 months in prison with credit for time served, which pencils out to 565 days. So let's see. 5 years and 4 months. I want to pull up my calculator here because this is where the math starts to kind of get relevant real quick, okay? So we're going to go to the phone. We're going to open the calculator. And let's see. 5 times 365, that equals 1,825 days, right? Yeah. So we're going to tack on another 4 months, and we're just going to average it down. We're going to call it 29 days times 4, because while obvious, well, yeah, February wouldn't fall in when he's serving, but we'll keep it short and sweet. So to that 1825, we're going to add 116. That brings us to a total of 1,941 days. 1941, right? But he gets credit for time served. So that is minus 565 days, which takes us down to 1,376 days, which if we divide that by 365 is we're going to go conservative here, 3.7 years. 3.7 years. That was in March, the 7th of March of 2022. So April, May, June, July, August, September. September 22nd. So we are going to say 6.5 months later, Nathaniel Dixon is released from prison on parole because of AB 109. And because the California State Legislature does not fund our prisons adequately in order to provide the space that is available. We have prisons that are being closed, and we have wings of prisons that are sitting empty right now in California. We have space for these criminals, but because of the legislature doing what it does and the acquiescence of the governor's office, those spaces are closed. They are unavailable. And so because of AB 109, after 6.5 months, Nathaniel Dixon is released. That is not quite 200 days. So of a sentence that should have been 1,376 days, Nathaniel Dixon serves less than 200 days, leaving 1,176 days unserved, which again translates to roughly 3.2 years. Nathaniel Dixon, 1 month after being released from prison on parole, 1,200 days early, nearly, is arrested for a violation of his parole because he failed to report his address. He spends not quite a month in jail, is sentenced to 30 days in jail with credit for time served, so he probably did a week once the gavel was banged, and he's done before Christmas of 2022. And then, in January, the last day of January of 2023, so October, November, December, January, 4 months, or 120 days after Nathaniel Dixon is released from prison on parole because of AB 109, and our legislature not funding or staffing prisons adequately to avoid AB 109 releases being triggered, Nathaniel Dixon murders Officer Carrasco in broad daylight in Selma, California. Meaning that reasonably, had Nathaniel Dixon served the sentence that he was given under the plea deal that was arrived at, Nathaniel Dixon could not have killed Officer Carrasco because he still would have had 3 years remaining on his sentence. 1,000 days. But Gavin Newsom's sick of being lectured, you guys. He doesn't like Lisa Smitkamp telling him what's what. Lisa Smitkamp, according to our governor, didn't do her job. We've got empty prisons and we've got empty wards in prisons right now that could be opened, illuminated, staffed, so that there is adequate housing, adequate room to reduce AB 109 arrests for somebody who between June of 2019 and November of 2022 is cited and arrested over a half dozen times for trespassing, for robbery, for attempted carjacking, for possession of methamphetamines, for carrying a concealed weapon, for carrying drugs, for carrying guns, for failing to even report to his parole officer where he's living, the most basic possible thing one could have to do to maintain their freedom. He would not do it. And so Hundreds of beds, possibly thousands of beds in California are empty. They were empty on October 24th when Dixon was arrested again after having been let out on parole 1,300 days early. And there were hundreds, if not thousands, of open beds that could have accommodated Nathaniel Dixon or somebody like him on January 31st when he killed Officer Carrasco. Nathaniel Dixon should still be in prison for the sentence that he got in March of 2022. Instead, we've got a dead cop, a mourning family, and Dixon himself. His life is wasted. It's forfeit. He will never accomplish anything. He will never contribute anything. The people in his life who cared about him and hoped for something better, they're crushed. And Officer Carrasco's baby grows up without a father. But Gavin Newsom's outraged that he had to be lectured by the district attorney of the county of Fresno.
And taking a look at Monday afternoon traffic in Tulare County, Highway 63 at Avenue 145. There has been a collision, no injuries there. In Madera, southbound 99 at the Cleveland Avenue off-ramp, a collision, no injuries involved there. Westbound 168 at the Bullard off-ramp, a collision, unknown injuries. West of Fresno at Dickinson and California, a collision with injuries, and there's cleanup going on in Merced County at Mountain View and East Keys Road. There was an injury accident there, and again, the cleanup is happening. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
E.M. Tharp at Golden State Peterbilt, the transportation people, would like to invite everyone out to the 2023 World Ag Expo February 14th through the 16th. Stop on by our booth on North Street between R&S to see the new line of Peterbilt electric trucks. At E.M. Tharp Golden State Peterbilt, we specialize in commercial trucks, parts, and service. So come on out and see us at the World Ag Expo February 14th through the 16th on Main Street just between R&S. We'll see you there.
Balanced Comfort Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing have been in the Valley about a decade. They're younger than some, but embrace the latest technological advances. It helps them respond sooner and fix it faster. Did you know trenchless pipe repair is a thing? Pipe repair without lawn repair. What a concept. Right now, Balanced Comfort can clean your drain for just $79. So when you need it now or before you do, remember Balanced Comfort for Plumbing in Fresno, Visalia, and Oakhurst. Balanced Comfort Cooling, Heating, and Plumbing. BalancedComfort.com.
CSLB 1027-318.
Every small business owner knows business happens everywhere. The office, the warehouse, or on the road. And no matter where it takes you, there's one solution to help your business thrive. Comcast Business Complete Connectivity. It's the largest, fastest, reliable network with advanced gig speed Wi-Fi and cyber threat protection in one solution. Get started for just $49.99 a month. Plus, add Comcast Business Mobile and you can save up to 60% a year on your wireless bill. And ask how to get up to a $750 prepaid card.
Flight 291 is now boarding.
Yep, you're going places. And when you get there, be ready to do business. The complete connectivity solution from the company that powers more small businesses than any other provider. Comcast Business, powering possibilities.
Ends 2/21/2023. Restrictions apply. Requires EcoBill and AutoPay. New 50 megabits per second internet and Comcast Business Security Edge customers only. Equipment taxes and fees extra. After 12 months, regular rates apply. Gig internet required for gig Wi-Fi. Mobile savings compares pricing of top 3 carriers.
World Ag Expo is back. See the latest and greatest in agriculture February 14th through the 16th at the International Agri Center in Tulare. See the top 10 new products, sit in on a seminar, test drive a Toyota truck, watch a livestock demonstration. Admissions $20 at the gate, or buy tickets now at worldagexpo.com. Use code ULTRA for $3 off each ticket online. For more information, visit worldagexpo.com. That's worldagexpo.com. Brought to you by Michelob Ultra and Bueno Beverage Company.
Could you use monthly payments to help meet basic needs, like putting food on the table, paying the rent, or buying new shoes for growing feet? Find out about Supplemental Security Income. You may qualify if your income and financial resources are low and you are 65 or older, or an adult or child with a disability or who is blind. Call 1-800-772-1213 or go to ssa.gov/SSI. Produced by Social Security at U.S. taxpayer expense.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ziprecruiter.com/free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
Susan, I'm sorry I'm late. Traffic is terrible.
It sure is. But on top of that, gas prices have been skyrocketing. I can't believe how expensive gas has gotten recently.
Prices at the pump are up, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back every time I buy gas.
And does that actually add up to anything?
I've made around $200.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code READY for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code READY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code READY for 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up.
Samba to big-time winning.
And fabulous fun.
It's Chauncey Gold and the $650,000 Rio Carnival of Riches.
Dance to win January 2nd through February 24th. Only at Chauncey Gold Resort and Casino.
Well, to the 4 o'clock hour on your afternoon drive. I'm Philip Teresi on News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. Listen to the show online at kmjnow.com or go get the app. I know the old app sucked. I have it on good authority that we can say that now. Seriously though, the old app was terrible. That's why we got a new one. And it is not terrible. It's actually pretty awesome. Well designed, looks good, works the way it's supposed to work. You can find it in the Google Play and the iOS app stores. It's absolutely free because, of course, it is. They are continuing to build this thing's functionality up, so you'll be able to get news off the KMJ website, as well as to grab our podcasts if you haven't already chosen a podcast provider. Just head over to your Google Play or iOS stores, enter 580 KMJ or KMJ Now, grab the new app, and enjoy. It sounds pretty great and an easy way to take KMJ on the go. It's just a couple of minutes here, and I don't know about you, but I need a palate cleanser. I need some hope for humanity, and so we will start with Diane Gordon. Diane Gordon lives in Michigan. She actually lives and works in the White Lake Township, and last year Diane had a bad turn. Her car broke down and she couldn't afford to fix it. So Diane has been walking her 2-mile each way commute to her job at the VC Fresh Marketplace in White Lake Township since that time last year. Back in January, she's on her way home, stopped at a BP gas station to grab a snack and saw a bag. Inside the bag was $15,000 and some wedding invitations. Diane did not use the money to buy herself a car. She did the right thing, and she turned it over to the police department there in White Lake Township. Investigators, probably thanks to the fact that there were wedding invitations in the bag, were able to locate the couple who had gotten married earlier in the day and return the $15,000 to them. Ms. Gordon told WJBK television that she knew she could have used the money to buy a new car, but she didn't think that that would be the right thing to do. Since then, one of the officers with the White Lake Police Department, his wife set up a GoFundMe for Ms. Gordon. She talked to the folks at WJBK TV and let them know about it so that it get a little circulation, and they've raised her about $25,000 towards that new car. I think that's fantastic. I think it's fantastic that she had whatever that is, that sense of right and wrong, that fundamental goodness to say, this isn't mine, I cannot keep it, it needs to go back, especially when you see the stuff from the wedding in the bag. Like, that's, no matter what those kids' situation is, that'd be a heartbreaker, man. She did the right thing. To get rewarded like that, and you know she's going to get a way better car with $25,000. Just a little good karma for your afternoon. Okay. When we get back, a moment of speculation on what we might expect from President Grandpa's State of the Union address. That is going to be tomorrow on KMJ, by the way. We are going to carry it live. We are also going to carry, of course, the GOP rebuttal, which will follow immediately. All that coverage is going to start at 5 o'clock, so I'm actually going to scoot early tomorrow in order to make way for the State of the Union address. So if you want to hear that, again, go get the new KMJ app. Absolutely free, Google Play, iOS stores. You can listen online, kmjnow.com. But I think that it's going to be a consequential speech, not because of what Joe Biden has to say, but probably because of how Joe Biden says it. I think this is going to be, it won't be the last test for Democrats, but in a party that does not want the theoretical leader of said party to continue in that role, if he doesn't come out sharp and strong and on point, he's going to, I think Joe Biden's going to finish his only term as president, and probably comfortably. But in terms of 2024, if he doesn't nail it tomorrow, I think that this might be the end of the road in terms of a political career for President Grandpa. Right now, it's time for an update of headlines with Jim Miller in the KMJ Newsroom.
KMJ News now.
It's 4:30 in Fresno. Good afternoon. I'm Jim Miller in the KMJ News Center. Dozens of citations handed out Sunday night after police caught wind of illegal sideshows throughout Fresno. According to police, officers called multiple times regarding sideshows that were taking place around town. They also took over several intersections. Officers say 17 drivers had their vehicles impounded. As a result, 24 citations were given out to drivers. Police in the South Valley need the public's help in their search for a missing teen. Authorities say Addison Dennis reported as a runaway Saturday night. She's likely in Tulare or Visalia. Anyone who's seen her or knows her whereabouts is urged to contact the Tulare Police Department. Well, Fresno Police Chaplaincy is gearing up for its 8th annual Support Blue event. KMJ's Liz Kern has the details.
The Support Blue campaign is meant to build trust between law enforcement and the people they serve. Fresno Police Chief Paco Balderrama says this is his 3rd year participating. It comes just after a fellow officer was killed in Selma.
People here appreciate the cops. They support us. We have a great working relationship with every single entity. And, you know, when tragedy strikes, and it did this week, we're able to pull together and support one another.
This year's Support Blue Run is scheduled to begin at 8 a.m. on Saturday, February 25th at Woodward Park. There's a 10K, 5K, or 2-mile walk. There are many other activities, booths, and vendors. People can learn more about K9s, SWAT, and the Skywatch units. Liz Kern, KMJ News.
Now the forecast from Fox 26's Christina Lopez.
A happy Monday to you. After this weekend's soaking and hail with thunderstorms, the valley will experience a ridge of high pressure that will bring a warming trend to the region. Expect afternoon highs in the low 50s, and by Friday, we should see near 70-degree weather. Right here in the Fresno area, a high of 51 with partly sunny skies with an overnight low of 36. At the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Christina Lopez for KMJ News, Make it a great Monday.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
And taking a look at traffic. Highway 65, about a mile south of Exeter, there's been a collision. There's possible injuries involved there. Also in Tulare County, Highway 63, Avenue 145, a collision with no injuries. In Madero, southbound 99, at the Cleveland Avenue off-ramp, there's been a collision with injuries. And there's a cleanup going on west of Fresno at South Dickinson and West California Avenue, where there was an early injury accident. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
Samba to big-time winning.
And fabulous fun.
It's Chauncey Gold and the $650,000 Rio Carnival of Riches.
Dance to win January 2nd through February 24th. Only at Chauncey Gold Resort and Casino.
Hi, this is Julie Vogt with Roger Vogt's Performance Auto Diesel and Air, your dealership alternative, proudly serving the Central Valley for more than 46 years. We have the expert staff and diagnostic capabilities to take care of whatever type of vehicle you drive: gas, diesel, flex fuel, car, truck, SUV, RV, or motor coach. We're proud to be a AAA approved facility, a GM and Ford quality installer with a nationwide 2-year or 24,000 mile warranty program. From routine maintenance services to diagnostics and major repairs, even Titan auxiliary fuel tank installations. If you've even thought about a performance upgrade, ask for JJ, our performance expert. Air conditioning repairs and part sales? We do that. We offer a courtesy shuttle service. Vehicle pickup and delivery is also available. Call Rose and she'll happily take care of the rest. 635-3288. That's 635-3288. Roger Vogt's Performance Auto Diesel and Air. The best thing about living in Visalia.
Annuity guarantees rely on the financial strength of the issuing insurer.
With proposed new taxes, market volatility, inflation, and rising healthcare costs, how secure is your retirement? Now you can help safeguard your retirement. A 401k law that unlocks an ingenious strategy could protect your retirement funds from inflation and a stock market downturn, while boosting your retirement income as much as 40%. It's all laid out in a new book, Guarantee Your Retirement, from JDM Financial, and it's yours free. This insightful guide can be a roadmap to using annuities so you can retire with more confidence, and includes the top 7 strategies for safely navigating the threat of inflation and market volatility. Don't risk losing some of what you've spent a lifetime earning or having to downsize your retirement. For your free copy of Guarantee Your Retirement by JDM Financial, call now. Call 800-820-3776. That's 800-820-3776. 800-820-3776.
This report is sponsored by Discover.
Susan, I'm sorry I'm late. Traffic is terrible.
It sure is. But on top of that, gas prices have been skyrocketing. I can't believe how expensive gas has gotten recently.
Prices at the pump are up, but I never pay full price for gas anymore. I just use the free Upside app that pays you cash back for every gallon of gas you buy.
Wait a minute. Are you saying you actually get paid cash when you buy gas with the Upside app?
Yes, I get real cash back every time I buy gas.
And does that actually add up to anything?
I've made around $200.
Wow, that's serious extra cash. I'm downloading the free Upside app now.
Download the free Upside app to earn real cash back every time you buy gas. Use promo code READY for an extra 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up. You can cash out anytime right to your bank account, to PayPal, or an e-gift card for Amazon and other brands. Just download the free Upside app and use promo code READY for a 25 cents per gallon bonus on your first tank. That's code READY for 25 cents per gallon cash back on your first fill-up.
We could talk about how complicated other banks make it to redeem credit card rewards. Or we could talk about how with Discover, you can redeem your rewards for cash in any amount at any time. Talk about amazing. Learn more at discover.com/redeem rewards. Terms apply.
Want to change the lives of children right here in our community? Donate your vehicle, boat, or motorcycle to carsforkids.org. As a thank you, we'll send you a $50 Visa gift card. So call 866-835-5437 or visit carsforkids.org and write off the car, not the kid.
Your calls, your tweets, and your voice are welcome right now.
First, thank you very much for all you do, and thank you for personally inspiring me.
The Valley's Afternoon Drive with Philip Teresi on News Talk 580 105.9 KMJ.
4:38 on your afternoon drive. I'm Philip Teresi. This is KMJ. Phones open, 490-5858 or toll free, 800-776-5858. So the president is going to do the State of the Union thing tomorrow night. And we will carry it for you live on KMJ starting at 5 o'clock. We got a little pregame here with Fox News. After the president's State of the Union address, we will carry the GOP rebuttal. And I'm not anticipating any surprises. I'm not anticipating any drama. That's not Joe Biden's style. That is not the people pulling the marionette strings animating Joe Biden's style. What will be interesting to see is if the world's oldest president is given a nap and an Adderall before he's sent out on stage. We know he's going to use teleprompter. That's what they do. And it's a pomp and circumstance moment. It's a whole bunch of stage dressing for a guy to read a speech that was carefully vetted, carefully crafted by a room full of writers that would make Hollywood sick with jealousy. So the content, while worth paying attention to because it is the State of the Union and there's maybe not specifically individually actionable information there is a snapshot in time of how the party in power believes it's going. And so we can also anticipate hearing the words, the State of the Union is strong. The question in my mind isn't whether the State of the Union is strong. No president has ever gone out there and been like, guys, this really, I don't know what I expected, but this wasn't it. It really sucks, and I'm tired, and my knees hurt, and these people aren't being nice to me, and this is terrible. How refreshing would that be? How much would that knock you back in your seat? Guys, this job actually really sucks. And I know I campaigned for it. I mean, we spent like $1 billion, and I think it's really neat that I got here. But I'm here now, and I'm telling you, this is terrible, and it's all broken, and everybody's just trying to get themselves a big enough piece of the pie to survive what's coming. And what's coming is darkness and an asteroid and China and EMPs, and I'm not telling you to panic because panic isn't going to save you. Just know the job kind of sucks, and I hate it here, and I'm not going to be sorry to get voted out. And I hope that whoever turns up after me has, I don't know, a magic wand. Oh, it would be fantastic. Probably also see the stock market crash and thousands of people just go whole hog nihilist overnight. It'd be true. It'd be funny, but it wouldn't be helpful. So instead, we will hear that the State of the Union is strong, and we will hear that Joe Biden has created more opportunity and more jobs for Americans than any president since World War II, and blah, blah, blah. And none of that is going to be really consequential. Like I said, there will be tidbits that are useful because they're a tip as to what talking points will be for the foreseeable future. But it's how he does. Does he stay on his feet? Does he stay on point? Does he use analogies or metaphors that sound like a Mad Libs? Or does he stay on the script? Will Wednesday morning be chock full of people playing Joe Biden's teeth falling out, or will it be chock full of people going, oh, wow, the old man still got something? And I think that you and I both know that the answer to that question, probably regardless of what you and I will see with our own eyes, the answer to the question, how will it be covered, boils down to what channel are you watching? Who's your news source? Because I think that Joe Biden could walk out there, back straight, shoulders back, chin out, and deliver the speech of his life. And there's going to be folks in the right-leaning media ecosystem that say he was, clearly loaded to the gills and out of his mind, and you could see him sniffing and twitching, and his pupils were too dilated, and whatever. And Joe Biden could walk out there, fall down twice, forget his own name, and start referring to Nancy Pelosi by his wife's name. And Aaron Burnett's going to come on CNN and talk about how statesmanlike he was. All the more reason to be here to listen to it. Don't worry about the set dressing. Worry about, does he make sense? Can he get a thought out? We know he's reading it off a teleprompter. Can he do that? It's not as easy as you think. There is a little bit of a trick to getting a teleprompter synced up with your speaking cadence and getting comfortable with reading on the fly a speech that long and not sounding like a middle market news anchor learning to use teleprompter for the first time with that weird cadence that they all have. I have to admit my expectations are not high. I don't think that Joe Biden's going to come out and surprise or impress anybody. And I don't think there was ever a chance that Joe Biden was going to come out on that stage and change any minds, with a single exception. And for him, it is the single exception that is consequential. Joe Biden has to convince moderate Democrats that he has it together enough for them to even consider letting him run for president again in 2 years. That's his true audience. He's not going for the fringy folks. He's not going for the squad. He's not going for the Antifas. He's also not trying, he has literally no motivation to try and convince any right-leaning person of anything. That is a tree that will bear no fruit for Joe Biden. He has to go to the middle and then a single step back to the left. And those are the people that Joe Biden has to talk to. And again, it's not going to be about what. It's going to be about how. Because what? We already know. The State of the Union's strong. The building could be on fire behind him, and he's still going to come out and tell you the State of the Union is strong. Meanwhile, over on the right, the Koch network, as in Charles and David Koch, spelled like Koch, that donor network that the Koch brothers established is making noise about 2024. And the way that this is being reported is that their aim is to turn the page. In other words, the Koch brothers, who over the past 15 years have dropped $500 million into supporting Republican candidates and conservative policies. Oh, wait, that wasn't over the past 15 years. That was just the 2020 election cycle that they spent $500 million. They and their friends apparently are done with Trump. An internal memo got leaked, and the question now is, can the money lead the party? Because I don't think that the party leadership, down ticket from Trump, can lead the party. Not as a jab, that's not a dig on McConnell or McCarthy. But the party is an unwieldy thing. That big tent, while it yields impressive numbers at the ballot box, also results in a lot of competing interests. And there was nobody quite like Trump in terms of getting so many of those competing interests to fall into line behind a single vision. But a weekend conference in Palm Springs made it clear that they're going to get involved in primaries, and Trump is not one of those priorities. We'll talk a little bit more about the language in the memo that got leaked. And what is the Koch brothers donor network going to do if it's not support the most successful and impactful Republican candidate in living memory? We'll find out when we get back on KMJ.
This traffic report is sponsored by Evans Feed and Livestock Supply. In Tulare County, a mile south of Exeter on Highway 65, there has been a collision with possible injuries. Also Tulare County, Highway 63 and Avenue 145, a collision, no injuries. In Madera, southbound 99 at the Cleveland Avenue off-ramp, cleanup after a collision with injuries. And west of Fresno at South Dickinson and West California Avenue, there was a collision with injuries. Cleanup is going on there now. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McGarry.
Lon Hanna here, talking cow care. The folks at Evans Feed know that this is a critical time of year to keep your cows healthy. If you're thinking about cutting back on your supplement programs, Mother Nature already has. Remember, it's up to you to help increase money in your calf check. Take care of your cows with Megalick Tubs by New Generation Supplements. You'll see improved performance, body condition, conception, and weaning weights, plus more disease resistance. So take care of your cows and they'll take care of you. See your Evans Feed Megalick distributor today in Madera, Chowchilla, and Porterville.
It just takes one stable relationship with a caring adult to help reverse the negative impacts on a child who's experienced abuse or neglect. For foster youth, childhood trauma causes more than physical and emotional pain. It can also lead to lifelong health problems. The good news is that it takes just one CASA, a court-appointed special advocate, to make a difference. Find out how you can help at californiacasa.org today.
You're gonna feel a puff of air.
Zhang's Optometry has set their sights on staffing up.
Try the next line. Hey Kim, can you tell our 2 o'clock we're running 15 behind? Sorry, we're a bit backed up today.
He needs an optometric technician to keep an eye on it all.
Where are the dilation drops?
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. You can schedule and conduct virtual interviews all from your employer dashboard. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
Research shows listeners prefer a personalized experience. So to help you remember, Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance. We personalized this ad for Amber, who really misses boy bands from the 90s.
Hey girl, I'm the cute one, here to tell you how Liberty Mutual customizes your home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
I'm the heartthrob. The only thing I love more than you is saving. And I'm the other boy in the band everyone forgot about.
Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
The 2023 World Ag Expo is here, and right in the heart of the big show, you'll find Barnes Welding Supply, the Valley's leader in welding and industrial supplies. Locally owned and operated since 1949, stop by Barnes Welding Supply's 9,000 square foot showcase and enter to win daily prizes. Grand prizes include a Miller-Matic 141 and a Lincoln Electric 140 MP MIG welder. Meet factory reps with hands-on demonstrations with Miller Electric, Lincoln Electric, Hypertherm, Makita, DeWalt, and many more. Also featuring some of the latest technology in manufacturing, showcasing a Miller Electric Cobot, a collaborative welding robot, an ArcLight plasma cutting table, and a Protomax CNC water jet. Follow us on Instagram at Barnes Welding Supply. Tag us in your photos while inside our tents and receive free welding gloves. Enjoy special show pricing at all 12 Barnes Welding Supply locations throughout California. Barnes Welding Supply at the World Ag Expo.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's Raymond Appleton. I hate that. How formal. Let me lay it out right now with the unfiltered truth about water softeners. Salt-based water softeners are outdated, babe. Don't work. They add sodium. And without, filtering any of your water, and they require constant, costly upkeep. You want a better solution? No. You want the best solution? Here it is. A LifeSource salt-free, whole-house water system. It's so much better than a water softener. Come on. LifeSource systems connect directly to your home. Right there at the water main, giving you very precious, filtered, delicious H2O water. It will flow freely out of every faucet, every tap in your whole house. This is where you taste and feel the difference with LifeSource. I want you to call LifeSource right now. 559-330-1850. Talk to a factory representative, or you can click lifesourcewater.com. 330-1850. LifeSource, you will taste and feel the difference. Oh, yeah.
Live. Local. KMJ.
It's 4:53 at News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ. Talking about the Koch network, as in the Koch brothers, as in the guys and their cohort that dropped $500 million in donations to conservatives and conservative policy just in the 2020 election. So the memo that has been leaked is actually set to go out to their network of affiliated activists and donors this following a weekend conference in Palm Springs, where the leadership of the Koch brothers network kind of laid out their goals for the next presidential election cycle. They have made it clear that they intend to get involved in primaries for various offices early. The memo declares, quote, the Republican Party is nominating bad candidates who are advocating for things that go against core American principles. And the American people are rejecting them. The memo asserts that Democrats are responding with policies that, quote, also go against core American principles. The chief author on this thing is Emily Siddell. She is the CEO of the Americans for Prosperity Super PAC. The principles sketched out in the memo are expected to supply other groups in the network, are expected to apply to other groups in the network, a group that is now being called, quote, Stand Together. But Americans for Prosperity themselves, just that one entity, spent $80 million in the 2022 midterms. They're saying that one of the lessons that they believe they learned from primaries in 2022 is that the loudest voice in each political party sets the tone for the entire election. Obviously, in a presidential year, that would be the presidential candidate. And so the Americans for Prosperity memo continues saying, to write a new chapter for our country, we need to turn the page on the past. So the best thing for the country would be to have a president in 2025 who represents a new chapter. The American people have shown that they're ready to move on. And so Americans for Prosperity will help them do exactly that. This is not the first time that the Koch brothers and Americans for Prosperity have pushed back on Trump. This might be the most overt, organized pushback against Trump since 2015. You know, except that whole Department of Justice raid in his house thing. It's the Afternoon Drive at News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ online. You can listen at KMJNow.com. And by the way, if you missed that conversation with Clint Olivier earlier, you'll find it tonight in the podcast section at KMJNow.com.
Missed part of the show? Get the Afternoon Drive podcast at KMJNow.com or by searching KMJ's Afternoon Drive in Amazon Music or Stitcher.
I know exactly how you feel. You're sitting there at the gas pump wondering, am I ever going to have a regular meal again? Because you're cutting out all the good food because you can't afford the gas, right? Wait until you see your next PG&E bill. No more meals out and no more hair because you're going to be pulling that out as well, too. Do what I did. Planet Solar. When you have a solar system put in by Planet Solar, you literally lock in your energy price forever. Don't you wish it could be that way at the gas pump? Sorry, but you can't do that there. But you can do it for your home with Planet Solar, and it all began for them right here in Central California. One of the things I really liked about these guys is their financing. Don't let the rate hike scare you away from going with Planet Solar. And they are really quick and good and efficient on installation, and they have become masters at putting together a complete solar package with a solar battery. So you've got the juice when PG&E says, no, you don't need it because we're trying to conserve to save the world. Click planetsolar.com. Do that. Call them at 228-9245.
Do you need to find someone? Or do you need somebody to get lost? Chris Daniel for Rocky Pipkin and the Pipkin Detective Agency. Finding a long-lost relative or a child support skipper, or in the Get Lost department, a harassing spouse, or maybe a questionable new employee hire are definitely reasons to call PDA. But they do so much more because there is more to being a full-service detective agency than just personal protection and risk assessment of unstable people. Okay, let's talk about your business. The the Pipkin Detective Agency is fully equipped for all HR issues, background checks, threat assessments, hostile terminations, walk-off service. Wouldn't you rather have somebody else do that? Video surveillance and good old detective work for things like embezzlement. And PDA will help you with the preventative measures to keep trouble from your door. People, if you think something's not right, it probably isn't. And if you wait, it just gets worse. Contact PDA for a no-cost risk assessment. Since 1987, the Pipkin Detective Agency. Find them online at gopipkin.com.
This is Christina Musan. Over the last 7 years, Closets by Design has organized 5 of my closets, a garage, a mudroom, and even my wine storage in not 1, but 2 of my homes. I keep going back time and again because they make organization easy. From the initial design appointment to installation, your satisfaction is their priority. And you already know that if you want proof, you can go to my Facebook page and see the quality for yourself. And maybe you've already done that and thought to yourself, I can't afford that. Well, that's not true, especially right now. Until February 25th, mention you heard this ad on KMJ and you'll get 40% off, plus an additional 15% off and 18 months interest-free financing. So what better time than to give Closets by Design a call? 453-7034. Check them out online at closetsbydesign.com. Closets by Design. Don't just imagine it. Make your home beautifully organized.
Samba to big-time winning.
And fabulous fun.
It's Chauncey Gold and the $650,000 Rio Carnival of Riches.
Dance to win January 2nd through February 24th. Only at Chauncey Gold Resort and Casino.
News Talk, 580 AM, 1059 FM, KMJ, Fresno, a Cumulus Media station.
KMJ.
It's 5 o'clock in Fresno. Good afternoon. I'm Jim Miller in the KMJ News Center. One person was injured this morning after a house fire in Fresno's Tower District. Smoke and flames reported just before 11 a.m. today. The structure damaged. The roof collapsed of the house located on Roosevelt Avenue, north of Belmont and west of Broadway Avenue. The family made it out, but the person in the basement had to be treated on scene for minor injuries. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. City of Fresno helping animal owners who are having trouble affording their pet services. KMJ's Liz Kern explains.
The City of Fresno is partnering with Valley Animal Center and Fresno Humane Animal Service. They'll spay and neuter dogs for $25, and cats are free. It includes free microchipping to help locate your pet if it gets lost. Fresno Mayor Jerry Dyer tweeting that these efforts are vital for the health and safety of our animal population. It helps pet owners and decreases unwanted animal overpopulation in Fresno. Pet owners must be Fresno residents and meet a specific income threshold. To see if you're eligible, text SPAY to 559-600-PETS. Liz Kern, KMJ News.
Police say they're looking for a suspect who shot a person during a possible road rage incident in Fresno County. It occurred just after 8 Sunday night at Palm and Ashland. The victim shot to the leg while in their vehicle, later taken to the hospital. There's currently no description available for the suspect vehicle. Students at Golden Charter Academy unveiling a new community garden in central Fresno. That project in partnership with the Fresno Metro Black Chamber of Commerce and former NFL player Robert Golden. The George Washington Carver Community Garden will help expose students to the world of agriculture and serve as an outdoor classroom. Surging natural gas costs impacting greenhouse operations in California. KMJ Ag Director Don York has more in this report.
Skyrocketing natural gas prices are a very challenging problem for California greenhouse operations. According to California Farm Bureau Federation, some are facing utility bills as much as 5 times higher than in previous years, as those businesses need to use heat inside their greenhouses. As a result, nursery operators say they must raise prices to consumers, including farmers who buy transplants and seedlings for planting. Some nursery businesses have even added fuel surcharges to their plants. Don York, KMJ News.
Now the forecast from Fox 26's Christina Lopez.
A happy Monday to you. After this weekend's soaking and hail with thunderstorms, the valley will experience a ridge of high pressure that will bring a warming trend to the region. Expect afternoon highs in the low 50s, and by Friday, we should see near 70-degree weather. Right here in the Fresno area, a high of 51 with partly sunny skies with an overnight low of 36. At the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Christina Lopez for KMJ News. Make it a great Monday.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 1059 KMJ.
Taking a look at Monday afternoon traffic in Tulare County, Highway 63, Avenue 145. The cleanup is just about finished there after a collision with no injuries. A reminder that the city of Clovis has shut down a section of Nees Avenue for an infrastructure project to widen the street to 4 lanes and place utilities under the road. The city now says that Nees will remain closed between Clovis and Minnewawa Avenues until the project is completed. Drivers can find alternative routes through the area to the south at Alluvial or north at Teague. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
Samba to big-time winning.
And fabulous fun.
It's Chauncey Gold and the $650,000 Rio Carnival of Riches.
Dance to win January 2nd through February 24th. Only at Chauncey Gold Resort and Casino.
Now, the Valley's Afternoon Drive with Philip Teresi. Philip Teresi. Your calls, your tweets, and your voice are welcome right now on News Talk 580 1059 KMJ.
It's 5:05 on your Afternoon Drive, Monday edition of News Talk 580 and 1059 KMJ. Philip Teresi with you until 6 p.m. when the great one Mark Levin takes the reins. Phones are open for your calls at 490-5858 and toll free. You can join us at 800-776-5858. Find the show all over social media at Drive KMJ. And if you want to watch, I don't know why, but you can, YouTube, Twitch, or Facebook Live, again at Drive KMJ. Joshua Weekly is standing by to screen your calls this afternoon. And it's the 5 o'clock hour. So we'll lighten things up. Let's start with a little happy birthday message. It's Ronald Reagan's birthday. Ronald Reagan was born on this day, February 6th, 1911. If Ronald Reagan was alive today, he would be 112 years old. And I think he'd probably still win the primary for president if you put his hat in the ring. That's kind of cool. There's not a lot to it, but happy birthday, Mr. President. That's a neat mark, but 113 years old if he was still with us. Holy smokes. We were talking about Biden's State of the Union, which is going to be live tomorrow on KMJ. Coverage should start about 5 o'clock. After the State of the Union, we will carry the GOP rebuttal as well. So make the plan, stick around, and if you haven't already got the app, go grab the new KMJ app. Works great, sounds great, and we'll let you take us wherever you are so you can keep track of the action as President Grandpa makes a case that things are great and he should be president again. Because that's what this really is. This is really about Joe Biden convincing the Democrat base that he should be the president again 2 years from now for another 4 years, which means when he is finally termed out of office, he will be as old as Ronald Reagan would be today, 112 years old. Associated Press and NORC's Center for Public Affairs Research just ran another poll, and they're saying that only 37% of likely Democrat voters believe that Joe Biden should run for president again in the 2024 cycle. That's a drop from the 52% who thought that he should seek re-election mid-year last year. The poll also finds that Joe Biden's approval rating has been on a steady decline following the midterms. And amongst Democrats 45 and over, less than 50% think that Biden should run for president in 2024. That's down 10 percentage points. Only 23% of Democrats under 45 think that the oldest sitting president should run for re-election. That's a drop of 20 points since before the midterms. His approval rating right now, 42%. That's across the board. That's Americans. And when you get into the overall picture, only 22% of overall voters think that Joe Biden should run for president again. He has not officially announced a re-election bid as yet, but he has alluded to it. Back in July, he told reporters that voters, quote, want me to run when he was asked about his high disapproval rating. Back in October, he said it's his intention to run, but he had not yet made a final decision. And most recently, at a DNC meeting, Biden asked the crowd, "Are you with me?" Members of the audience screaming 4 more years. Isn't that's the political equivalent of some goofball yelling "free bird," isn't it? It doesn't mean anything. It's just what you yell. It's enthusiastic. Joe Biden can't walk out there and "Are you ready to rock?" Because that's not what they're doing. So it's, "Are you with me?" 4 more years. 4 more years, he's going to be 84 years old. I'm not saying that octogenarians have nothing to say, nothing to contribute. That's not at all my point. Not for a moment. One of the sharpest human beings that I have ever known in my life was my grandma Teresi. And my grandmother was 96 years old when she passed away. And until the very last weeks of her life, my grandmother, she did her own taxes by hand. She continued to manage a household and all of the things that go with that herself well past the 95-year mark. She was an extremely sharp person, and she was somebody whose advice I sought on everything. She would also be the first person to tell you she was tired. She'd been ready to go home to Jesus for the better part of a decade since her husband passed. And while she loved her life and she loved her family and she loved her church, she did not want to go out and expend that much energy. Now, I understand Joe Biden's fully a decade behind that, but we aren't talking about somebody who's sitting on the board of directors of a corporation. We aren't talking about somebody who's running a business. We're talking about the President of the United States of America, a person who needs to be able to jump out of bed at 2:30 in the morning and make a snap decision about something as insidious as Chinese spy craft being identified over American airspace. And how do we handle that in a way that protects both the lives of civilians on the ground and the integrity of the intelligence that the Chinese seek to gather by moving this vehicle over our country? What this guy did was wait 3 days and then shoot it down when it was out over the ocean, thereby allowing the Chinese to navigate through American airspace, continue to gather intelligence, because there is no damn way that they were able to steer that thing but not download data from it. And then when he did finally shoot it down, after 3 days of letting it meander over the United States, he shot it down in a way that damaged it, so they're bringing it into the FBI headquarters. It's showing up in pieces at Quantico. So Joe Biden's going to get on stage tomorrow night, and he's going to make a case that he wants to be the president again, while this group that frankly leans left frequently in how their polling results turn out is finding that only 13% of Americans have a lot of faith in Biden's ability to achieve policy goals. If only 13% of Americans have faith that the man can achieve policy goals, because again, policy, whether you like it or not, whether you like what he accomplished or not, Joe Biden's got 45 years of experience in the arena. Achieving policy goals, crafting legislation, guiding that process from the unique perch on which he now sits. That should be as natural to Joe Biden as breathing. And less than 15% of the people in this country have faith in his ability to do that. But he's going to lead the country for another 4 years through what I think is pretty obviously going to be a Chinese kinetic war of aggression against Taiwan, the ongoing Russian violence in Ukraine. I can't even begin to imagine how symbolic our relations are with Turkey and with Syria at this moment in time. I can't even contemplate it. That region of the world has always been a powder keg. And Erdogan is hell on wheels, man. And the violence and the mistreatment of those human beings by the powers that be on both sides of that border, it's jaw-dropping. It's sickening. And we talk about the Russian crimes against humanity in Ukraine. Mamma mia, go look at what's going on over there. Whatever you think about their respective governments, whatever you think of the history of the region, there is no rational person, there is no decent person that's going to tell me what's happening there is okay, or that it's going to get better after the biggest earthquake this side of the Bible knocked down like 5,000 buildings. And I don't mean a little bit. I don't mean like this is questionable and we should probably grab our stuff and get out of here quick. I mean, there are miles of cities and suburbs and outposts leveled. They look like a bomb went off. You think that region of the world's going to be better tomorrow than it was today? 12,000 people are injured. Red Crescent, Red Cross are trying to get in there. They're trying to help. Notice you haven't heard anything from Joe Biden and the administration besides the usual thoughts and prayers. And I don't know what the right answer is. The human side of me that hates to see women and children and innocent people suffer says do something. And the part of me that's weary of getting entangled with that region of any regions when it comes to the geopolitical stickiness of inserting Team America says kick some money into Red Cross, Red Crescent, and otherwise steer clear. I have the luxury of sitting back here without a bunch of panicked people jumping up and down and screaming at me. How's the 80-year-old man going to do when he gets called out of bed for a crisis like that in this country? He couldn't figure out what to do with a verified spycraft over our country. But tomorrow night, he's going to make his case. I'm sure it'll be riveting. It's interesting. It is interesting. And if you are following the theater for ugly people that is politics in the 21st century, it's going to be essential listening. It's the Afternoon Drive at News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. I'm Philip Teresi. Glad you're sticking around.
And taking a look at the 180 and 99 interchange, also the 180 and 41 interchange, there is the usual jamming up there. Out in the Sanger area at East Central and Academy, there's been a collision. Injuries involved. Emergency vehicles are headed to the scene. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
Samba to big-time winning.
And fabulous fun.
It's Chauncey Gold and the $650,000 Rio Carnival of Riches.
Dance to win January 2nd through February 24th. Only at Chauncey Gold Resort and Casino.
I have to say this. I am personally astounded how the Glass Shop in Visalia continues to do everything right. They're making some amazing business decisions, and that's great for you. Okay, so what now? No tax whatsoever on any windows up until April 15th. That'll save you plenty right there, especially if you got a big job. No taxes. They'll front that bill with Uncle Sam. You don't worry about it. Next, Scott has become kind of a living legend in this business of windows and doors and all of this stuff. He needs a title, like, shall we call him the Wizard of Windows? When he comes to your home, he'll tell you before you even know what you need, and this is blowing people's minds. He'll tell you what type of window. He'll tell you what brand. Now, you ultimately make the decision, but this guy knows. And the Glass Shop has windows that have a double lifetime warranty. You sell your home, and whoever buys the home gets that warranty as well. And they'll get it done like in 3 to 4 weeks, where most companies take 2 to 3 months. Click theglassshop.com. It's that simple. The Glass Shop in Visalia. Click theglassshop.com. There you go. Tax-free, don't forget.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, well, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate through the site within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. Just go to this exclusive web address, ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter.com/free.
E.M. Tharp and Golden State Peterbilt, the transportation people, would like to invite everyone out to the 2023 World Ag Expo February 14th through the 16th. Stop on by our booth on North Street between R&S to see the new line of Peterbilt electric trucks. At E.M. Tharp Golden State Peterbilt, we specialize in commercial trucks, parts, and service. So come on out and see us at the World Ag Expo February 14th through the 16th on Main Street just between R&S. We'll see you there.
Progressive presents Adjusting to the Suburbs.
I never really thought about tools until I bought a house in the suburbs. It's like this weird homeowner test if I need a tool for a project and don't have it. And my neighbor Ted loves to give me that look when I ask to borrow a pole saw. A year ago, I didn't even know pole saws existed. And now I gotta borrow one from Ted? What is happening?
Anyway, when you save with Progressive by bundling your home and auto, that's the easy part of adjusting to the suburbs. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company coverage provided in service by affiliates and third-party insurers.
With one of the best savings rates in America, banking with Capital One is the easiest decision in the history of decisions. Even easier than choosing Slash to be in your band.
Next up for lead guitar. You're in.
Cool. Yep, even easier than that. And with no fees or minimums on checking and savings accounts, is it even a decision? That's banking reimagined. What's in your wallet?
Terms apply. See CapitalOne.com/bank for details. Capital One NA, member FDIC.
NEM 3.0 is on the horizon, and change is coming. Call Solar Negotiators today to find out how you can lock in your savings under California's current solar policy. Speak with a consultant today to get pre-qualified for a zero-down, low-interest rate loan and go 18 months with no payments. Go solar with confidence through Solar Negotiators, your lifetime energy partner. To learn more about NEM 3.0 or to get a free quote, visit solarnegotiators.com.
Live 22 on your afternoon drive. I'm Philip Teresi at News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. Your home for the State of the Union and the Republican rebuttal. Even as a majority of Democrats say, we don't want that guy back in. The expectation is that the State of the Union is going to be kind of campaign audition 101. Meanwhile, Super Bowl is coming. It's Kansas City Chiefs versus the Philadelphia Eagles. I'm probably the only person that needs to look at an AP article to be reminded of that. And the Associated Press would also sensibly like to remind you that, of course, the Super Bowl is the advertising's biggest stage. Advertisers jockeying to get their products in front of the more than 100 million people that watch every year. And the executive vice president of ad sales for Fox Sports, a man named Mark Evans, says a few ads went for more than $7 million for 30 seconds. Most were right between $6 and $7 million for 30 seconds. Anheuser-Busch is going to remain the biggest advertiser. They've got 3 minutes of national airtime they paid for. They gave up their deal to be the exclusive alcohol advertiser this year. That means that Heineken, Diego, Remy Martin, and Molson Coors are also going to be a part of this year's Super Bowl. Packaged food, Doritos, M&Ms. Oh boy, are we in for a ride with that M&M stuff. Movie studios, streaming services, automakers, tech companies. Not the crypto companies. Last year, a lot of people called, nobody outside of the Associated Press writers' room and a handful of Madison Avenue wannabes called it the Crypto Bowl. But for the sake of humoring the authors of the Associated Press, we'll say that somebody somewhere once called last year's Super Bowl the Crypto Bowl because FTX, Coinbase, Crypto.com, and eToro all threw down on big advertising packages. FTX, of course, that the company headed by Sam Bankman-Fried, who's now in custody, having been extradited from the Bahamas, facing a multitude of charges, and FTX now in bankruptcy while Sam Bankman-Fried is facing the music on an alleged scheme to defraud investors. This year, there are 2 crypto advertisers. They're booked, they're done. They were, but when the news broke on FTX, both of those crypto advertisers bailed. So Evans from Fox Sports says there is 0 representation in the crypto category at all for the Super Bowl. Evans also said that most of the ads sold much earlier than usual. More than 90% of their ad inventory was gone by the end of summer. And this was established advertisers duking it out over prime positions. Once that dance was done, the remaining spots did sell slower. He says part of that is because of the implosion of crypto advertising, as well as just general advertiser concerns about the global economy. Last year, NBC sold out of ad space pretty quickly. They had a handful of 30-second spots that went for $7 million. That was a jump from the 2021 high watermark of $6.5 million. And so kind of in keeping with what we're seeing this year in terms of advertising spending. Now, I've made no secret of the fact I'm really not a sports guy. I have not watched a single football game this season. I think I caught, I caught the last 90 seconds of San Francisco losing to the Eagles. What was that, a week ago? And that purely circumstantially. They just had it on where I stopped for lunch. But I will be there for the Super Bowl. I will watch the big game. It's a spectacle. But for me, the football game is actually normally the least of it. And honestly, when I talk to people who are fans of the game, I mean, there's always diehards who that's what they're living and breathing for, and all of the trappings is less relevant for them than the answer to that question: who is the best this year? But even the you take it one step back from that. I wouldn't call them casual fans. They're serious consumers. But the Super Bowl, if it's not their team, it very much turns into this is a social event. This is checking out the crazy ads. This is an excuse to buy a couple of 12 packs and invite your buddies over and make a mess and just have some fun watching football in a way that we, especially since the pandemic, we haven't been doing. And I'm really curious because I know this will shock you guys. I'm not really big on on entertaining. I don't have people over to my house much, and I never have. There was a little bit of a phase when I was in my 20s where it was fun to have people around. But I have not been big on parties and dinner parties and that kind of thing at my house, really in my adult life. My wife is an extremely social person. She loves having friends and family over. And through her, as much as that itch exists in my world, I'm able to kind of enjoy that through her social scene. The other part of it is a lot of my friends just aren't in town anymore, so it doesn't make sense to try and throw a party for a bunch of people that may or may not be in this part of the, not even this part of the state, this part of the continent. Are you going to go bigger on the Super Bowl because you have not had the same kind of gatherings since the pandemic? Are you going to, did you already do that? If you're one of those folks who has not slowed down or who bounced back quickly, are you going to throw down for this game? Because the other thing is, we got two teams from the other side of the country. I know there's Eagles fans. I know there's Bills fans that are here, but it's California. This is Raider country. This is 49er country. The people here like the teams from here. Diehards aside, excuse me, not the Bills, Kansas City Chiefs, still halfway across the country. And still, there's my level of investment. It's not the 49ers. It's not the Raiders. It's not the Seahawks. It's nothing from this side of the country. So it's kind of a shrug in terms of who wins. I don't really care. Will you go big on this? Will you spend money on the junk food and the trappings that revolve around this? Will you go more conservative because it is two out-of-town teams? It's a great excuse for a party. I mean, Mrs. Teresi and I have been talking about grabbing one of those short throw projectors so that we can put the game on in the living room where we don't currently have a television without interrupting the feng shui of that space too much. I don't think I'm going to do that. I think that spending a couple of grand to watch a football game sounds insane. Even being there, that seems like too much money. 490-5858, 800-776-5858. Are you enthusiastic about the Super Bowl this year? Are you going to throw down for a party, or is this going to be a six-pack of long necks, plate of nachos, and kick it in the recliner in peace and quiet? It's news time now, and in the KMJ newsroom, here's Jim Miller.
One person was injured this morning after a house fire in Fresno's Tower District. Smoke and flames reported just before 11 a.m. today. The structure damaged. The roof collapsed at the house located on Roosevelt Avenue, north of Belmont and west of Broadway Avenue. The family made it out, but the person in the basement had to be treated on scene for minor injuries. The cause of the fire is still under investigation. City of Fresno helping animal owners who are having trouble affording their pet services. KMJ's Liz Kern explains.
The City of Fresno is partnering with Valley Animal Center and Fresno Humane Animal Service. They'll spay and neuter dogs for $25, and cats are free. It includes free microchipping to help locate your pet if it gets lost. Fresno Mayor Jerry Dyer tweeting that these efforts are vital for the health and safety of our animal population. It helps pet owners and decreases unwanted animal overpopulation in Fresno. Pet owners must be Fresno residents and meet a specific income threshold. To see if you're eligible, text SPAY to 559-600-PETS. Liz Kern, KMJ News.
Police say they're looking for a suspect who shot a person during a possible road rage incident in Fresno County. It occurred just after 8 Sunday night at Palm and Ashland. The victim shot to the leg while in their vehicle, later taken to the hospital. There's currently no description available for the suspect vehicle. Students at Golden Charter Academy unveiling a new community garden in central Fresno. That project in partnership with the Fresno Metro Black Chamber of Commerce and former NFL player Robert Golden. The George Washington Carver Community Garden will help expose students to the world of agriculture and serve as an outdoor classroom. Surging natural gas costs impacting greenhouse operations in California. KMJ Ag Director Don York has more in this report.
Skyrocketing natural gas prices are a very challenging problem for California greenhouse operations. According to California Farm Bureau Federation, some are facing utility bills as much as 5 times higher than in previous years, as those businesses need to use heat inside their greenhouses. As a result, nursery operators say they must raise prices to consumers, including farmers who buy transplants and seedlings for planting. Some nursery businesses have even added fuel surcharges to their plants. Don York, KMJ News.
Now the forecast from Fox 26's Christina Lopez.
A happy Monday to you. After this weekend's soaking and hail with thunderstorms, the valley will experience a ridge of high pressure that will bring a warming trend to the region. Expect afternoon highs in the low 50s, and by Friday, we should see near 70-degree weather. Right here in the Fresno area, a high of 51 with partly sunny skies with an overnight low of 36. At the Fox 26 Weather Center, I'm Christina Lopez for KMJ News. Make it a great Monday.
With news on the hour, on the half, and when it breaks, and always streaming at KMJNow.com. I'm Jim Miller for News Talk 580, 105.9 KMJ.
Just a couple of incidents to report here as far as traffic goes. I-5 at the Russell Avenue off-ramp. There has been a collision with no injuries. East of Fresno, near Sanger Academy and East Central, there has been a collision. Injuries are involved. I'm Ron McCary in the KMJ Traffic Center.
Samba to big-time winning.
And fabulous fun.
It's Chauncey Gold and the $650,000 Rio Carnival of Riches.
Dance to win January 2nd through February 24th. Only at Chauncey Gold Resort and Casino.
Inflation goes up. Do you feel like you need to refinance your car to fill up the gas tank? What if 2 years ago, someone offered to sell you a lifetime supply of gas at $2.75 a gallon, but you told them no? Today, you would be kicking yourself. Right now, Planet Solar has that same offer for you on your electric bill. As inflation goes up, so does your utility bill. Lock in your energy prices today with a new Planet Solar system. Planet Solar is locally owned and operated in Clovis. They're big enough to offer you all the best brands and in-house financing, but small enough to give you the personal service you deserve. Call Planet Solar to find out how to lock in your electricity costs today. You'll be glad you did. Call them at 559-228-9245 or find them on the web at planetsolar.com. That's 228-9245 or planetsolar.com. License number 938313.
What you've heard about probiotics is probably wrong.
I eat yogurt, so I don't need to take a probiotic.
Probiotics? They don't really work. It's time to learn the truth about probiotics and join the Align Healthy Gut Team Up. Align has probiotics to naturally help relieve occasional bloating, gas, and abdominal discomfort. Try Align probiotics for a month and see how great a healthy gut can feel. Get $2 off your first month of Align at alignprobiotics.com.
As a Walgreens pharmacist, I talk with people all the time about little tips and tricks for filling their Medicare prescriptions, like taking advantage of Walgreens 90-day refills to save them a trip, or using Refill by Scan, which is super easy and right on your phone. And for anybody worried about prescription costs, I say, hey, we got you. with low-cost copays on many medications.
Let's talk about making things easier. Walgreens is here. Feel your way and save at walgreens.com/Medicare. See pharmacists for restrictions and exclusions.
Do you have 3 ex-wives and your current trophy wife wants a life insurance policy 3 times the size of the policies you had to purchase for your previous mistakes? If so, you need to call Big Lou at Term Provider, 800-777-1979. Big Lou is intimately familiar with your problems, and if you're 50 or 60 years old and in reasonably good health, a $1 million policy should only cost about $100 to $200 per month. Big Lou may have a solution for your previous policies as well. You may even save enough money to lighten the load on your new $1 million policy. Remember, call Big Lou. He's like you, except he's only on number 2. Call Term Provider at 800-777-1979. That's 800-777-1979. For $1 million in term life insurance that you can live with. Call Big Lou at 800-777-1979. 800-777-1979.
Teresi. Streaming live on Alexa, Google Home, and everything else. Philip Teresi on KMJ.
It's 540. News Talk 580 on 105.9 KMJ. Mark Levin on the way in just about 20-25 minutes. If you missed any part of today's show, you can head over to kmjnow.com, grab the podcast, or you can find it anywhere you like to listen. We've got it on Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Google Podcast, Deezer, TuneIn, iHeart. We're pretty much anywhere you want us to be. Just like I said, search for KMJ's Afternoon Drive and subscribe. It makes the boss happy. And we all know a happy boss makes my life easier. Or you go to kmjnow.com, hit the podcast tab. Then you'll find not just me, but the entire team's there. And you can also hit the Sweet Deals tab. Hummus Republic sold out. We knew that was going to happen, but we've got a new sweet deal coming up Friday at 9 a.m. And this will be one of those be there at 9 a.m. because it's going to sell out quick, like big time. Small Cakes Cupcakery. These guys do good work, man. And I mean, seriously, you got a Super Bowl coming up. You got Valentine's Day coming up. You got Easter on the way. How many different events are looming large on your horizon that you'll be a hero if you show up with Small Cakes? So be ready, 9 o'clock, Friday morning, kmjnow.com. Hit that Sweet Deals tab. And this is one, like I try to tell you guys when I know there's going to be, it's going to rock out. This one's going to go quick. This is a set alarm and be at the website at 8:58 kind of deal, because this will be a minutes, not hours sellout. Small Cakes Cupcakery, Sweet Deals, kmjnow.com, 9 a.m. Friday. Do not be late. The GOP is changing its tune on mainstream media. Let's see. We saw Meet the Press with Jim Jordan. People watching This Week on ABC and Fox News Sunday heard from Michael Turner out of Ohio, Michael McCall out of Texas, both Republicans. Face the Nation saw a few segments with Speaker of the House Kevin McCarthy. He was laying out his expectations for a midweek meeting with the president. That, by the way, is McCarthy's first Sunday Talkie Talk appearance in about 24 months. James Comer is kind of making his pick of opportunities right now, the newly empowered chairman of the House Oversight and Accountability Committee. However, he wanted to get home to his family in Kentucky this week and just didn't have time to put together the logistics of getting a network satellite truck. So he skipped it this week. Not because he's not willing, but because he just didn't have time to get the truck in place. Now, it's not a surprise to anybody that a new congressional majority would attract more attention from the media. Exact same thing happened 4 years ago when Nancy Pelosi came back as the Speaker of the House, and you saw like AOC start to make waves in her unique way. But there has been really, it started during the Trump presidency, this habit of national Republicans shunning the media, following Donald Trump's lead, calling the press, calling the media, calling the 24-hour infotainment cycle, frequently the enemy of the people. But the consultants are changing their minds. Basically, what they've impressed upon Republicans in particular is that you can't shun all media except for friendly outlets. You're not winning over any new votes. You're not changing any minds if you only stay inside of the bubble. Of course, it's more challenging to sit down with ABC News. Of course, it's more challenging to sit down with CBS News. They're not going to lob you softballs. If you're going to change minds, if you're going to win more votes, you got to go where somebody other than your own choir is. And the message is sinking in. Now, there is the claim, and James Comer will be the first one to say this, that the reason a lot of conservatives stopped doing national media is because national media stopped calling conservatives. Now, executives will tell you that that's not the case. But you just have to go back to Jake Tapper and Chuck Todd and the public debate. We even talked about it here. How do you deal with people who went for the big lie, who bought in on the stolen election claims, not to complain about questionable processes, not to highlight real legitimate issues in elections and in voting, but the people that just that were the people that went full Kraken. And how do you deal with the people that were supporting the insurrection? The people that were promoting the attitude that it was okay for people to break into the nation's capital and parade around like an invading mob, howling for Nancy Pelosi and Mike Pence's blood. And it's a simple thing at the local level, because at the local level, we know who we're dealing with, and we know when we've got a cuckoo, and we know when we've got a loudmouth, and we know when we've got somebody who's a good conservative who sincerely believes that there's a better way to run this country. And we know when we've got a bleeding heart liberal who means well but can't get out of their own way. That's kind of the advantage of getting to know these people. And it was Harry Truman that made his comment about if you want a friend in politics, buy a dog. Well, same with media. If you want friends, go to the bar. If you want an interesting and compelling program, be ready to talk to whomever is relevant, whomever is interesting. And sometimes that's people that you disagree with personally. Sometimes it's people that you find distasteful personally. There is nobody in media who is going to cut out a person who has something legitimate to say. There is nobody in media who is going to damage their access by going nakedly partisan unless the function of the media is entertainment. If the function of the media is simply to entertain, if it is simply to preach to the choir, if it is just playing the hits, and that's what a lot of talk radio's turned into. Not people who ask questions, not people who push back, not people who speak truth to power, not people who confront abuse of position and status and whatever else. It's turned into a bunch of people that continue to kind of sycophantically suckle at the largesse of their local celebrities and completely lose sight of the fact that our electeds are not celebrities. They are elected to serve us and to do what we elected them to do. And if they don't do it, they should be fired. And if they make a mess of things by acting like lunatics, they should be fired. And it's the job of the local media to point out that behavior and make sure that folks know what their electeds are actually doing. But sometimes you just don't have any gas left in the tank, and so you let Crazy Pants sit in the corner. In any event, I think that the very 2018 hackles up, don't talk to that mainstream media because they're a bunch of damn liars thing is going to go by the wayside, because as it turns out, if you want to reach those undecided people in the middle, rare though they may be, sometimes you got to get off your own front porch. It's the Afternoon Drive on KMJ. I'm Philip Teresi. Mark Levin coming up in about 20 minutes. You don't want to move.
And one last look at traffic this afternoon. Northbound 99 at the 2nd Street off-ramp. There is a traffic hazard of some sort. Tree limbs are too close to the road after they trimmed some trees there. Southbound 99 at Page. This is in Tulare County. There has been a hit and run with no injuries involved. With KMJ Traffic, I'm Ron McCary.
Samba to big-time winning.
And fabulous fun.
It's Chauncey Gold and the $650,000 Rio Carnival of Riches.
Dance to win January 2nd through February 24th. Only at Chauncey Gold Resort and Casino.
Join the ag community at World Ag Expo to see the latest in agriculture February 14th through the 16th at the International Agri Center in Tulare. Wear comfortable shoes to see all 2.6 million square feet of exhibit space. Admissions $20 at the gate, or buy tickets now at worldagexpo.com. Use code ULTRA for $3 off each ticket online. For more information, visit worldagexpo.com. That's worldagexpo.com. Brought to you by Michelob Ultra and Bueno Beverage Company.
Lon Hanna here, talking cow care. The folks at Evans Feed know that this is a critical time of year to keep your cows healthy. If you're thinking about cutting back on your supplement programs, Mother Nature already has. Remember, it's up to you to help increase money in your calf check. Take care of your cows with Megalick Tubs by New Generation Supplements. You'll see improved performance, body condition, conception, and weaning weights, plus more disease resistance. So take care of your cows and they'll take care of you. See your Evans Feed Megalick distributor today in Madera, Chowchilla, and Porterville.
We've all been called to bless kids in our communities, and Cars4Kids.org is helping generous and faithful listeners like you make a difference with that unused or unwanted vehicle. Donate your car, truck, van, motorcycle, or boat in any condition, and your blessing will go directly to kids and provide mental health services, education, food, housing, and basic necessities. So please call 866-835-5437 or give now at Cars4Kids.org. That's Cars4Kids.org. And right off the car, not the kid.
Coming up this March 25th at the Grand in downtown Fresno, Community Health Systems Founders Club invites you to experience an evening of fire and ice. This new must-attend event supports local neuroscience care and building the future Bob Smitkamp Family Neuroscience Institute.
Thanks to major sponsors, Facility Designs, West Tech Systems, and Queering General.
It's not too late to become a sponsor or buy a table. Go to kmjnow.com for more information.
Life can be extremely stressful and overwhelming. Most, if not all of us, can relate. If you or anyone you know is in crisis or suicidal, call the Central Valley Suicide Prevention Hotline. It's free and confidential. Call 1-800-273-8255. There is always help, and we are here for you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Reach out at 1-800-273-8255.
Here's the unfiltered truth about water softeners. Softeners add sodium without filtering water. Softeners are old-fashioned, costly, and maintenance-heavy. There's a better solution, a LifeSource salt-free water system. LifeSource systems provide filtered, delicious water from every tap without filters or any maintenance. LifeSource salt-free systems are perfect for areas banning softeners, and that's the unfiltered truth. Call 559-330-1850 for a free consultation or visit LifeSourceWater.com. LifeSource, taste and feel the difference.
This is a special notice to all U.S. taxpayers. It's good news for all Americans who owe back taxes to the IRS or state and struggling to pay them back. The IRS is now making it easier to settle delinquent tax problems through a federal program called the Fresh Start Initiative, due to the financial hardship many are facing in this current economic downturn. Qualifying for this program will settle your delinquent tax problem, end all collections, and may even reduce your back taxes by up to 99%. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes and cannot afford to pay them, there's no need to worry. You may now qualify to settle your delinquent tax problem and save thousands of dollars. To see if you qualify and to get this important free information, call the Tax Hardship Center, 800-411-6406. 800-411-6406. That's 800-411-6406.
Nobody does tax relief better than Tax Hardship Center. KMJ Fresno.
Everything that happens in Fresno's got to run the gauntlet at KMJ. It is such a blessing for you all to have what you have. It's been 100 years of communicating with your community. There's nothing like that for 1,000 miles.
And so ends our broadcast day.
Rolling up on 6 o'clock quickly at News Talk 580 and 105.9 KMJ. That means the great one, Mark Levin, will join you in just a matter of moments. Stick around for that. Thank you again to Clint Olivier for joining me early in the show. He actually stuck around a little bit longer than we had planned on because we had a really fun conversation about this Chinese spy balloon and the reaction to the Biden administration. We also talked about lockdowns. Clovis West High School and Fort Washington Elementary again today. Again, everybody's okay. Appears to have been a hoax call. But at this point, you're going to see law enforcement at all levels begin pursuing the perpetrators of this hoax. We also talked about the naming of a new Clovis Elementary School, couple of suggestions from the serious side, couple of suggestions from the not-so-serious side. Comment on that is open for the rest of the month. So if you were one of those people who agreed that the new elementary school, the renamed James K. Polk Elementary, now just Polk Elementary, should have been named after former Fresno County Sheriff Margaret Mims, there's an opportunity here. And Clovis is a much more conservative community than the constituents of Central Unified appear to be. So there's an opportunity here to name that school after a very significant, very important member of our community. And I'm just saying, I think that it's a better idea than going with Mountain View Elementary or Hill Valley Elementary or Sagestone Elementary. Let's not be generic. Let's honor some of the folks who have made this a better place to be. And finally, we talked about the revision of the Fresno County supervisorial fight. Steve Brandow intends to try and keep his own job in the Area 2 supervisor seat for the Fresno County Board of Supervisors. Jim Patterson has announced he's stepping away. He is going to focus on some opportunities in the private sector to be of service to our community. However, Fresno City Councilman Dr. Gary Bredefeld has announced that he wants to run against Steve Brandow. So that's going to be an interesting race to watch develop. I'm curious to see if either Bredefeld or Brandow switch their focus to the assembly seat that's soon to be vacated by Jim Patterson. So instead of cutting down on Republicans, maybe we actually add to the number of folks representing us at the county and state levels. But time will tell. Mark Levin is on the way. Thank you for your calls, for your time, and for your attention. Fox News, Legends and Legacies, and the great one. Don't move. There's more to come on KMJ.
The Valley's Legends and Legacies are brought to you as a public service by the family of Bill Tatham Sr. for you to experience the value of history as a learning opportunity to inspire your success today and as a spark of your imagination for the future.
In the late 1890s, W.A. Burnside